terrific entertainment, live and only on Talk Sport.
Well, good afternoon, I'm Adrian Durham. This is Talk Sports. Some of the King Power Stadium for Leicester Chelsea today. Gary Lineker's here, watching his boyhood club. It's about time he came to a game here. In fact, Talk Sport greeted him as he arrived at the King Power Stadium. Our reporter Ian Stringer was out there. You can see the footage via our social media channels at Talk Sport on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Reaction to come from Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0 during this show live from the Vitality. We're hoping to hear from both managers. On TalkSport, we've got your football and it's free. Here on Game Day Live on TalkSport, we go around the grounds in quick-fire fashion. We have all the goals, all the excitement. We're at games in the top three divisions. I'll give you goals as they go in from Premier League to EFL National League and the FA Trophy quarter-finals today. We're the only radio station with a full classified results check after 5 o'clock, and that includes National Leagues North and South, Irish Premiership and Cymru Premier as well. If it's commentary you want, then we've got Spurs against Forest on TalkSport 2 this afternoon. To get TalkSport 2, just tell your smart speaker to play it or download the TalkSport app for free. It's easy to swipe left for TalkSport 2. A quick hello to our pundits. Mickey Gray at Goodison Park for Everton. Brentford, how you doing?
Adrian, very well, thank you.
And Trevor Sinclair's at Ellen Road for Leeds. Brighton, right, Trev?
Afternoon, Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Mickey, first of all, Liverpool beaten at Bournemouth. Football's mad.
Absolutely crazy, Adrian. How can you score 7 goals one weekend and then the following weekend you lose by 1-0? This is the Premier League for you. It doesn't matter if you're at the bottom of the table or the top of the table chasing top 4. You are not granted to go out and just win a football match. You have to earn the right to do it, and Bournemouth, exactly what they've done this afternoon. Brilliant.
And Trevor, for Liverpool, it was 13 points from 15 before today. For Bournemouth, 1 win in 9 before today, so it makes no sense.
Makes absolutely no sense, and I think you've got to give credit to the manager, Gary O'Neill, to keep on picking them Bournemouth players up, performance after performance, without getting any wins, and then all of a sudden pull it out of the bag like they have today. Absolutely superb, brilliant management from him. Keep the boys going, mentoring them, keep them believing, and obviously the training, the spirit's been good, and they've got the reward today.
Reaction to come. Liverpool beaten and stay 5th. Their second leg away to Real Madrid is live on TalkSport on Wednesday. Bournemouth up to 16th in the table. Here at the King Power, Leicester keep losing, and they're very close to the bottom 3. Meantime, visitors today, Chelsea, have won back-to-back games with back-to-back clean sheets. Alongside me this afternoon for TalkSport, it is Ian Stringer.
Yeah, Chelsea have been promoted to halfway up or down, depending on your cup status, Adrian. 12 points from the relegation zone, 11 from the top 4, but a perfect game this afternoon against a wounded Foxes side. Loftus-Cheek and Mudryk come in for James and Sterling for Graham Potter's men. Leicester make the same 2 changes. Amati and Daka come in for them. Wide men, interestingly, both wide men, Barnes and Tete, are bent. So the Foxes with Ward in goal, back 3 of Amati, Fass and Suter. Castagna and Pereira, Ricardo Pereira, the wing-backs, Mendy and Dewsbury Hall in the middle. The man who's going to be responsible for keeping them in the Premier League, in my view, James Maddison, starts. Iheanacho and Daka up front. Everson Evans is on the bench for the first time in the Premier League in a squad since October. Barnes and Didi Pratt, Thomas Tete and Sumari. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal with Fofana, a former Fox of course, Koulibaly and Cucurella. Mudryk comes in, Ben Chilwell, another former Fox. He starts for Chelsea with Kovacic, Fernandez, Loftus-Cheek, Havertz and Felix. Goalkeeper on the bench is Bettinelli with Badiashile, Pulisic, Chalobah, Zakaria, Ziyech, Gallagher, Chukwuemeka and Madueke. The referee is Andre Mariner. Leicester City versus Chelsea.
Spurs can't win, can't score. They host Forest, whose away record is the worst in the Premier League. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for TalkSport, it's Solly Clink.
Well, after showing his anger about not starting in the Champions League on Wednesday, Richarlison is in from the off today for Tottenham, Adrian. Big chance handed to him by manager Antonio Conte. And after being dumped out of the FA Cup, losing to Wolves last weekend and slipping out of Europe on Tuesday, it's been quite a fortnight, hasn't it, for Conte and Spurs. With his own future in doubt, Conte called his team too soft in his pre-match press conference. So will we see a tougher Tottenham today? There are 3 changes in total from that midweek draw with Milan. Emerson, Royal, Perisic and Kulusevski drop out the side. I'll bring you more team news in just a moment.
Back to the Vitality, Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0. Here's Jurgen Klopp with Declan McCarthy.
Thank you, Adrian. Yes, Jurgen joins me here. A tough afternoon in the South Coast, Jurgen. How did you see the game?
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good at all. It was never our game, really. Yes, we had good moments in the first half. We saw them and we scored a goal, which was slightly offside, probably. I guess it was. Had other good moments in similar situations, but didn't do that often enough because against a very compact defending side, you still have to find the spaces behind their last line. That's what we did in these moments. To get there, you need to play much more in the half spaces. That was possible against their formation. We didn't do that often enough, and then that's what then became the game we saw. What they did was pretty simple, but against us today, exactly the right stuff to do. They just play the ball in behind through our half spaces, and we didn't protect each other good enough, and that's why they could make advantage there and scored the goal like this. Cost us in other moments problems as well. Then second half, I thought we started quite okay, a little bit better, and then looked like we can really put pressure on them, and then we got a penalty, miss it, and then you saw it. Then we were a bit in a rush. It was not that clear anymore. Of course, there were moments, like the very last with Cody. But again, it was a rare ball in behind. He can turn and then finish the situation off. It doesn't hit the target, but it was a good chance anyway. Didn't have enough of that, and so it was outside. It was probably the whole afternoon the game Bournemouth wanted to play, and only in a few seconds or minutes the game we wanted to play, and that's why we lost.
We know the Premier League is relentless, Jurgen, but I think many will wonder how you can pull a performance like you did last week and then come to a side battling in the relegation zone and come to defeat. What do you put it down to? Yeah,
football. That's it. Football is probably the best explanation. These things happen. You cannot compare games, really. You have to, for keeping a momentum, you have to do the basics right. I said last week, the result it's not interesting for us. The performance is interesting. We have to build on the performance. We didn't build on the performance. We played completely different, which was not a plan, obviously. And that's why we lost.
Now you go back to the drawing board to build up the momentum. You still believe top four is a great chance for you?
It's for sure not the moment to talk about that. If we don't win, we depend on results, on the results of the others, and that's a bad situation in football. So we have to win football games, and we will see where we end up.
Safe journey home. Thank you, Jurgen.
There you go. That's Jurgen Klopp with TalkSport's Declan McCarthy. You have to do the basics right, he said, and that's what they didn't do, and that's why Liverpool lost 1-0 at Bournemouth this lunchtime, live and exclusive on TalkSport. We were getting team news. Back to Spurs. TalkSport's Ollie Klink.
There are 3 changes in total for Spurs from that midweek draw with Milan. Emerson Royal, Perisic and Kulusevski all drop out. In come Pedro Porro, Eric Dyer and Richarlison. So Spurs start with Forster in goal, a back three of Romero, Dyer and Longley. Porro and Davies are the wing-backs, with Højbjerg and Skip holding in midfield. Son and Richarlison are ahead of them, with Harry Kane leading the line up top. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest sit 14th, just 4 points above the drop zone. There are 2 changes for them from their draw with Everton last week. Out come Colback and Wood. In come Mangala and Lingard. So they start with Navas in goal. Aurier, Worrell, Felipe and Lodi make up the back 4, with Freuler, Shelvey and Mangala ahead of them. Gibbs White and Lingard tuck in behind Brennan Johnson up top. This one will be live over on TalkSport 2. Commentary from Ian Danter and former West Ham defender Alvin Martin at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham against Nottingham Forest.
Everton still in the bottom 3, and they face a Brentford side who are unbeaten in 12 in the league at Goodison Park for TalkSport. Matt Jones.
Yes, Adrian, Everton's position in the relegation zone made even more perilous by Bournemouth's lunchtime win, and time to pull out is running clear. Right, we'll bring you team news in a moment or two.
Let's go back to the Vitality. Gary O'Neill is with Declan McCarthy.
Thank you, Adrian. Congratulations, Gary. What pleased you most about the performance?
Yeah, just that the lads have put in 3 real good displays, including this one against top sides, and they haven't had any reward in the last 2. So I'm sure they believe me when I tell them that they're heading in the right direction and we're putting in good performances. But today they get their rewards, and I'm sure they definitely believe me now.
Is that almost bigger than the results, installing the belief into the players that this is working?
No, well, I think the belief's there. I think you don't come off the back of having a go at Manchester City and go to the Emirates and put in a display like we did if there's no belief. And no, the result's bigger for me. The belief will be fine. I have no doubt in this group, no doubt in what they're going to give me each week. yeah, the result's bigger for me.
And in any relegation battle, you need your key players to step up. Philip Billing, it felt like he was everywhere today, Gary.
Yeah, very good, very good. He, we needed to take him off at the end. He was a little bit tired, but gave everything. Showed some real quality for his goal. We had some real good chances as well on account of a couple of 1v1 situations. It was a big win to keep a clean sheet against obviously one of the best sides around, and team that's just scored 7 last weekend is a big effort from everyone.
Out of the relegation zone now, Aston Villa next week. A win like this, does it put the pressure on the other sides? Can you somewhat enjoy the rest of the day now, Gary?
I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. I'm not sure what it does to the other sides. I think, full focus on us. I thought, review the performance. I thought there were some incredible individual ones. I think Lloyd Kelly coming back after such a long time out with a serious ankle and then his calf, and to be up against Mohamed Salah, having not done too much training the last few weeks, and perform the way he did was an incredible effort. So not just Lloyd, there's some real good individual performances.
And finally, was your heart in your mouth a little bit when Mo Salah stepped up to take the penalty?
Yeah, I just expect them to be a penalty as well when it's against us. So, as soon as there was a VAR check, I was like, it's definitely a penalty. I haven't really seen it. I've heard mixed opinions on it. I think some say it's harsh, some say it looked like a pen. So, did I expect Mohamed Salah to miss? No. Have we had enough tough breaks go against us so far? We definitely have.
Congratulations, Gary. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
There you go, Gary O'Neill with TalkSport's Declan McCarthy. Let's go back to Everton, Brentford, Matt Jones.
Time running out for Everton to pull clear of the relegation zone, but they do have experience from this sort of situation, having left it to the penultimate game of last season to secure Premier League football. New manager Sean Dyche just picked up 7 points from his 6 games in charge so far, but the problem for the Toffees is the teams around them keep winning as well. So with Southampton, Wolves and West Ham not playing until tomorrow, can they get what would be a huge victory today? The home faithful certainly hope so, though they've been dealt a huge blow as Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't make the squad despite returning to training this week. It's actually an unchanged side from the draw with Nottingham Forest, so it's Pickford in goal, a back 4 of Coleman, Keane, Tarkowski and Godfrey. The midfield 5 are Iwobi, Gay, Onana and Decore, with McNeil on the right, and then Gray is up top. Brentford, meanwhile, are unbeaten in a dozen games, a run that includes a win at Manchester City and a draw at Arsenal. They beat Fulham 3-2 last week, and there's just one change from that game as Johan Wiese drops to the bench, replaced by Vitali Janelt. In full, it's Raya in goal, the back 4 of Hickey, Pinnock, Mee and Henry, Damsgaard, Norgard and Jensen the midfield 3, with Janelt, Tony and Mbuemo up top. Kick-off between Everton and Brentford at 3.
A Bournemouth win means Leeds drop into the bottom 3. They've scored only once in the last 4 games. Informed Brighton are at Ellen Road this afternoon. So is TalkSport's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Bournemouth's win was bad news for Leeds. It was great news for Brighton, whose top 4 hopes are well and truly alive. Leeds are desperate for points, just 1 win in their last 12, and goals have been a huge problem. But good news, top scorer Rodrigo is back on the bench after missing the last 7. Javi Gracia makes 2 changes from loss at Chelsea as Rocker and Bamford replace McKennie and Rutter, who are both on the bench. Meslier in goal, then Ayling, Koch, Verba and Firpo the back 4. Adams and Rocker holding with Somerville, Aronson and Harrison behind Bamford up top. Brighton are flying, 1 loss in 10 for them, and a season now that promises so much for the Seagulls. They make 1 change from a 4-0 thrashing over West Ham last week. Tariq Lamptey is out injured, so Joel Veltman replaces him. It's Steele in goal, Veltman, Webster, Duncan, Estepinian at the back, Gross and Caicedo in midfield, with March, McAllister and Mitoma behind Ferguson up top. Leeds have never beaten Brighton in the Premier League. Today would be a good day to change that stat. At Ellen Road, it's Leeds against Brighton.
Right, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18+ begambleaware.org.
Alex Boys from Betfair. Let's take a look at this one here. It's getting noisy. Gary Lineker's arrived. The teams are in the tunnel. Leicester versus Chelsea.
Afternoon, Adrian. It's quite a quirky one, actually, because Leicester's matches this season have produced 30 more goals than Chelsea's, who, by the way, they've seen the fewest number than any other side in the Premier League. So, quite an interesting one. Leicester, though, they are 16-5 to beat Chelsea, knowing that Brendan Rodgers has a rotten record against the Blues. He's only managed 2 wins in 21 games with Chelsea, whilst they haven't had a shot on target in their last 2 Premier League games. Quite remarkable, really. Chelsea, they're the 9-10 odds-on favourites to win their 3rd game in a week. Their away form hasn't been great, but that performance against Dortmund was quite something. The draw is 13-5. I was quickly looking at the teams. Maddison is the captain for Leicester this afternoon. He leads his teammates in goals, assists and chances created, and he's been a popular goalscorer pick at 9-2 this afternoon.
And what about that game on TalkSport 2? Spurs, will they actually manage goal against Forest?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of noise around Spurs, as we know, haven't we? But if we cut this one back, we've got a team sat in fourth against a newly promoted team who've scored 3 times away from home all season, and the odds reflect that, Adrian. Spurs odds on at 2-5 to get back to winning ways, and they've won the last 3 at home in the Premier League, all without conceding. Forest are 7-1 to take all 3 points, and they've lost all 3 league games in London this season by an aggregate score of 11-0. The draw is 18-5, and Spurs haven't won 4 in a row without conceding since March 2018, when Maurizio Pochettino was in charge. There's been a lot of noise around him this week. He remains the 11-8 favourite on the Betfair Sportsbook to be the club's next manager, with Conte still the favourite to be the next one to leave in the division at 17-20.
Alex, thanks very much. That odds update, all thanks to Betfair. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Game day on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18+, begambleaware.org.
4 to kick off. Let's race around the Championship grounds. Burnley and Wigan, I'm only 30 miles between them, but on the pitch they are worlds apart at Turf Moor. For Top Against Bottom, it's TalkSport's Andy Buckley.
Worrying times for Wigan, who issued a statement overnight admitting that staff and players haven't been paid. Hardly the best preparation for a daunting test against the Burnley side, flying high at the top of the table. Maatsen is back for the Clarence. Wigan make 4 changes. At Turf Moor, Burnley against Wigan.
Sheffield United still second. They've won 2 of the last 3, or they've lost 3 of the last 5. Depends which way you look at it. Tough one at home to Luton today. At Bramall Lane for TalkSport, Alan Biggs.
Yeah, second against 5th. 2 Sheffield United changes. Anel Ahmed Hodzic and John Fleck return for Chris Basham and James McAtee. Luton are 3rd in the away form table, 9 wins on the road. Also 2 changes for them, bringing in Pelly and Panzu and Fred. Onyet Inma for Doughty and Clark. At Bramall Lane, Sheffield United versus Luton.
Swansea have lost 5 of their last 7. Middlesbrough have won 6 of their last 7. At this one for TalkSport, Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, perfect stats as always, Adrian, but they go way further back as well. Russell Martin's Swans have just won 3 out of 19 league games since flirting with the top of the table, while Michael Carrick's Borough 21st to 3rd, taking 43 points from possible 57. Insane. Away bankers, surely. In Abertari, it's Swansea against Borough.
Reading are 15th, but they've got a brilliant home record. They host playoff chasing Millwall in front of TalkSport's Dave Rowe.
Well, that home record may become even more vital if and when Reading receive a points deduction. -6 would leave them just 6 clear of the bottom 3. Millwall just outside the top 6 after a tough run of fixtures. 1 win in 4th. The Lions were edged out by Norwich last week. Informed Tom Bradshaw has 6 goals in his last 5 games. At the FCL Stadium, it's Reading against Millwall.
Chris Wilder is back. He's the latest to try to last longer than 5 minutes at Watford, who head to QPR, who need a win under Gareth Ainsworth. At Loftus Road for TalkSport, Jake Robson.
And it's 2 changes by Ainsworth from the side that lost at Rotherham last week. Dykes and Dazelle start for Watford, and Wilder also makes 2 changes from their draw at home to Preston last weekend. Gaspar and Davis in for Morris and Araujo. It's QPR v Watford.
And after today, Sheffield Wednesday's next 4 League One games are all live on TalkSport 2 as they aim for promotion. The table toppers head to Portsmouth. Well, a fantastic home record under new manager John Mousinho. At Bratton for TalkSport, Alex Crook.
New Year's Day, Pompey's last home defeat. They make 2 changes as Piggott and Lane come in for Scarlett and Lowry. As for the league leaders, unchanged. It's Pompey against Sheffield Wednesday.
And in the Championship, last night, Stoke beat Blackburn by 3-2. And live on TalkSport 2 this lunchtime, Bristol City won 2-0. 1 win in 9 then in the Championship for Mick McCarthy at Blackpool. They're in the bottom 3, level on 32 points with Wigan and Huddersfield as things stand, and 6 points off of safety. We are getting ready to get underway here at the King Power Stadium and at all the other games up and down the country. It'll be Leicester that kick us off against Chelsea here in the Premier League as Andre Mariner gets things sorted, checks his watch, makes sure everybody is in place. Fans are ready, Lineker's ready, TalkSport is ready to bring you all the goals as they go in and take you around the grounds. Or on TalkSport 2 you can listen to commentary of Spurs against Nottingham Forest. Just download the TalkSport app for free. You can swipe between TalkSport and TalkSport 2, and we are underway. This is TalkSport. This is the only national radio station with live football. We're powered by fans, and we bring you the energy and the passion as well. I mentioned that Sheffield Wednesday's next 4 League One games are all on TalkSport 2. We are your station for the EFL, the only national radio station with EFL commentaries. Middlesbrough against Stoke Tuesday night, Papa John's Trophy final at Wembley, date in your diary. Sunday the 2nd of April between Plymouth and Bolton Wanderers. And we've got this one tomorrow lunchtime from the Championship.
Charging forward, Pookie is through again, and Pookie has scored again.
Gets to the byline, pulls it back, surely number 3, it is Josh Sargent.
Now we have to make sure that we perform again on a very, very good level to get the next home win.
Called it, oh, what a goal! Oh, fantastic from Amad Diallo from the right-hand corner of the box, just wrapped his left foot round it.
If I was going to send a message to the supporters, it would be to stick with the team, really, believe in the team.
We know in the Championship anything can and often does happen.
That's Norwich Sunderland on TalkSport. A midday kick-off tomorrow in the Championship. And in midweek as well, we've got more live football. We're your place to be. Midweek nights, under the lights. It's got to be the TalkSport network. 6 o'clock, kick-off gets underway on TalkSport 2. We're around the grounds on Tuesday night, a busy night in the Champions League and the EFL. I'll be hosting the show live from the Etihad Stadium. Man City take on Leipzig, goalless from the first leg. On TalkSport 2, it's Borough-Stoke commentary. And on Wednesday nights, now this is a big one, TalkSport, live commentary of Real Madrid against Liverpool. And listen, they beat Man United 7-0. They lost 1-0 to Bournemouth. You just never know with football. You never know with Liverpool. Might they be able to turn around that 5-2 deficit? We shall see. That's live on TalkSport on Wednesday night. We've got a goal at Goodison Park already, Matt Jones.
And it's huge, just 35 seconds on the clock, and Everton lead Brentford 1-0. It's Dwight McNeil with the goal. Everton pick up a loose ball. Coleman's long ball forward is cut out, but it comes to Iwobi. Brilliant first-time pass from him to Decore in the centre of mid.
Now here's Walking, which is good for Chelsea. So he'll have to go off the field because he did have treatment. So that's a minute and a half gone with Felix down on the ground, still 0-0. It was actually Pereira with the challenges. Studs were up. It was a genuine attempt for the ball. He's just caught Felix at the top of the ankle with his studs, which is why Felix went down in quite a lot of pain.
At the game, but that's the way to be thinking. We'll go and try and add to it, but what a brilliant start to the game for Everton.
Couldn't have gone any better for them. Less than 2 minutes on the clock. Everton 1, Brentford 0.
And we've got a goal at Spurs as well, Ollie Klink.
Tottenham 1, Nottingham Forest 0, and wouldn't you just know it, Richarlison is the man who has put Spurs in front. It was a wicked ball from Oliver Skipp over the top. Richarlison was onto it like a flash in the box, and he smashed his finish past the keeper. Dream start for Tottenham and Antonio Conte, and his faith in Richarlison has paid off. 3 minutes gone, Tottenham 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Well, that's Richarlison's first Premier League goal in 18 appearances. He's replaced Kulusevski today. He's only got 2 in 18, one in the defeat at Manchester City. The other was the 4th in a 4-1 win over Southampton early season. They've been struggling for goals from anyone other than Harry Kane. Well, Richarlison is delivered. Spurs 1, Forest 0. That's live on TalkSport 2 right now. Just tell your smart speaker to play TalkSport 2 or download the TalkSport app for free. You can swipe between the 2 stations. There's also podcasts on their schedule. You can listen back to all the shows on the TalkSport network via the TalkSport app. And Everton leading Brentford 1-0 as well. What's been happening here at the King Power Stadium? Ian Stringer.
4 minutes gone. It remains Leicester 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea with the ball in the Leicester box for the first time in this game, but there has been a delay. João Felix went down. I think Ricardo Pereira was a lucky boy. It was late. It was studs into the ankle, and you saw the Portuguese with his ankle rolled. It looked nasty, Adrian. He's gotten up and he's carried on. I do think that Ricardo was lucky. Leicester.
His striker role this afternoon. Still with Havertz. Pass it back just beyond the halfway line for Fofana. He'll move it into the Chelsea half with Koulibaly, and now on this near side with Kukurea on the halfway line. Flat ball forward towards Felix, picked up now by Kovacic on the near side for Chelsea. Plays it infield towards João Felix. He'll try and switch it out now to the far side. Taken down by Ruben Loftus-Cheek for Chelsea. Well and truly in the Leicester half. Still Loftus-Cheek as it's played towards Havertz, all the way back towards Enzo Fernandez on the far side now for Chelsea, looking to drive forward. Flicks it onto the far side, further out wide for Loftus-Cheek. It was Castagna with the challenge, and it goes out for a Chelsea throw far side, midway inside the Leicester half. It's taken back now towards Fofana and then into the Chelsea half now with Koulibaly. He moves it onto the left side here for Kukurea. Forward into the Leicester half. João Felix drops deep, and now Kovacic on the halfway line trying to drive away from Dewsbury Hall. He's won it back here, Dewsbury Hall, and we'll try and get Leicester on a counter-attack. It was a good recovery challenge there from Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea back on it on the near side now with Ben Chilwell. It's Koulibaly. Plays it to the far side. It was a pass that was too short, and now Maddison has it for Leicester inside the Chelsea half. Central position, quite deep though, as he goes down under the challenge of Kovacic. Wins Leicester the free kick, takes it quickly with a long ball forward towards the penalty area, just too close to Kepa Arrizabalaga. It was Daka who was chasing in behind, and he was only maybe a couple of yards from getting there first. This is rolled out quickly by Kepa Arrizabalaga towards Kukurea on the near side. Here's Felix now inside his own half for Chelsea. Plays it back towards Kovacic, and then further behind now with Kukurea, and all the way into the penalty area with Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now Fofana, as he looks to ping one forward to the far side. Header one in there by Fraze. And now Mendy flicks it over the top, but only found Kovacic. One back here for Felix. Felix just behind the halfway line, looks to play it down the line towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Can he keep it in play on the far side? He won't, and it will be a throw for Castagna and for Leicester City with 7 minutes played. Kovacic wins the header for Chelsea after the throw. Dewsbury Hall picks it up inside his own half. He's then brought down. It will be a free kick for Leicester City inside their own half. That's taken quickly and it's taken short. And here is Fraze. And now a chance for a Danny Ward in goal for Leicester. A first touch for the Leicester goalkeeper. That's probably a good sign for the home side with 8 minutes gone, that he hasn't had to touch the ball yet as he fires it out to this near side. Iheanacho plays it back for Pereira on the halfway line now with Mendy just ahead of it with Maddison moving along to the far side. And this is Castagna infield for Maddison. Maddison toe punts it into the centre again for Mendy. He'll move it slightly to his right now with Dewsbury Hall. Further out wide on this near side now with Pereira looking to dribble infield and play it infield towards the Iheanacho edge of the area. He'll leave it for Maddison. His strike was tame and too close to Kepa Arrizabalaga, who was able to catch in goal for Chelsea. So we take a second look. It was a poor touch really from Iheanacho inside, but Maddison was coming onto it, which allowed him to get his first time effort away. Just too close to the Chelsea goalkeeper, as Chelsea have gone long now towards this near side. Pereira will try and see it out of play. He will see it out of play. Leicester throw near side, about 20 yards away from the goal line. So Pereira picks up the ball to take for the host. We did tell you about a goal in the first minute at Goodison Park. It was for Everton. It was Dwight McNeil with the goal. Plenty other games going on as we speak in the Premier League. Of course, Everton, Brentford, as we mentioned, Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, Forest 2, as well as Palace City later on this evening. So far, 0-0 here with almost 10 minutes played as Chelsea move it forward to the halfway line for Mudryk. That's a good slide challenge in there from Castagna. He has it now on the far side for Leicester City. Fraze on towards his centre-back partner Suter, who will go long now for Leicester towards the far side. Daka's making the move in behind, and it was headed back by Fofana, almost over his own goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, who had to stretch up into the air to catch for Chelsea. He's since rolled it out towards Fofana again. He looked to go down the line. The flick on from Havertz was intercepted, but Chelsea won it back with Felix. That's a cute little flick on towards Fernandez. He'll go long in behind for Chelsea. Havertz now on this near side for Chelsea. He's got Chilwell with him making the overlapping run. Still Havertz swings the ball towards the back post. It's over everyone but
No, give Fernandez the ball. Fernandez plays Havertz through as he stayed onside. He has over on the left hand side of the penalty area now. Havertz, he's into the box, left foot across, he goes over everybody, but Loftus-Cheek is there at the other side of the box to pick that ball up. Loftus-Cheek tries to go past Castagna, turns back, here's a cross into the box, headed up in the air by Faze, and onto the roof of the net from the Belgian international. It's a corner to Chelsea. And gone from one end to the other there, Chelsea very quickly. Good play by Kai Havertz. And from Fernandes, the two of them linking up well, and it was a cross from Loftus-Cheek that Faze well. And after 10 minutes, we have our first corner of the match here, and it'll be for Chelsea. And it's going to be taken over there, left-footed by Chilwell. Getting a bit of grief still, the former Leicester man, part of that title-winning squad under Claudio Ranieri. In swinger from Chilwell, in it comes. There's Fofana looking for it, but it's glanced away well by Faze. Koulibaly will get it at the back post. Koulibaly tries to play a cross in, far too long for everybody, but there's a shot at the back post. Felix is in! What a finish! And it's Ben Chilwell, and he slides in front of the Leicester fans, cupping his ears. Boy, did he enjoy that one. What a stunning finish by Ben Chilwell, out of nothing. And the away end here at the King Power is in raptures after 11 minutes. A stunning finish by the former Leicester man, Ben Chilwell. I was just about to say how Koulibaly's cross came to nothing. It looked like he'd overhit it there, the big Frenchman. But there was Chilwell at the far side of the penalty area. A beautifully struck left-footed volley. And it's flashed past Danny Ward at his near post, who will probably be disappointed he didn't get more on that one. But a wonderful start to this game from Chelsea. They lead 1-0, and it's the former Leicester man, Ben Chilwell, who goes a long way to silencing the Boo Boys here at the King Power. Danny Ward is standing sort of in the middle of his goal. There's no way he's expecting a shot from there. But Chilwell strikes it left-footed, low and hard, and it creeps into the near post. And Graham Potter looks delighted but relieved with that one. And it is Chelsea who take the lead here, 1-0, thanks to that former Leicester man, Ben Chilwell, with a great finish. Leicester now trying to get forward. Castagna claiming he's got a boot in the face from Fofana. Don't think Andre Marner's buying that one, but Castagna now is lying on the edge of lying behind the goal line. The Belgian went for that ball, and Fofana, his foot's raised quite high. Leicester were determined to get back quickly. The former teammates now hug it out, and it's going to be a corner, I believe, to Leicester. I think Fofana does actually catch Castagna the side of his head, completely accidental, but very lucky, quite clumsy from the Chelsea defender. I'm not even sure he realised Castagna was there, and it has been given as a free kick just outside the box. Well, Chelsea I'm just taking the lead now. They nearly shoot themselves in the foot, as it's going to be a free kick to be taken by James Maddison, right-footed, about 5 yards outside the box on the left-hand side, nearly on the goal line. Felix and Mudryk make up the wall. And now, what can they come of this? A lot of big blue shirts in there. Can Leicester strike back immediately? Maddison, right-footed, in it comes. And it's going to go all the way through. And Marte was almost right underneath the crossbar. Could have got a touch in that, but didn't. And it flashes just wide of Kepa's goal. And Leicester almost strike back immediately. And actually it glanced off of Marte's head. Well, how has he missed that? Not 2 yards out. Maddison whipped that ball in over Kepa, who was flapping for it and came and got nothing. Not convincing goalkeeping there. And Daniel Amarte almost standing under the crossbar behind him. Almost looked like it surprised him that it arrived so quickly, and he glances the header wide. Huge chance for Leicester to respond almost immediately. So a really good attacking phase of play from both sides there. And Leicester on the attack again. Daka now down the left side, cuts in field, goes down under the challenge from Loftus-Cheek, but nothing doing, says Andre Marner. Leicester win it back though. Here's Mendy now coming towards the box, gives it to Dewsbury Hall, out right to Pereira, about 30 yards out from goal, gives it to Mendy, he goes down under challenge by Fernandes, nothing given, back at Mendy's feet by Iheanacho. Now Faze, Maddison, left-footed, cuts in. Maddison still going into the box, tries to play a 1-2, but Kovacic, the Chelsea captain, gets a foot in there, comes back out to Castagna, to his Belgian teammate Faze, just on halfway, and now Suter. And Chelsea maybe will have time to regroup here, but Leicester still in possession, looking dangerous. And there's Joao Felix, and I'm not sure who that was, collided with him. Felix has been on the end of a couple of strong challenges. It was Dewsbury Hall who slid in about a 50-50 with him and Joao Felix. and the Portuguese man definitely came out worse than that one. He's already been on the end of a rough challenge from his Portuguese international teammate Pereira, and that time he and Dewsbury Hall slid in for the same loose ball, and João Felix won it, and Dewsbury Hall made contact with him, but Felix is fine to get straight to his feet this time, and play will resume with a free kick. 15 minutes gone here at the King Power. Leicester City 0, Chelsea 1. A goal from the former Leicester man Ben Chilwell, a left-footed volley from the far side of the penalty area that Danny Ward will probably think he should have done better with. Here's Koulibaly, has played that in behind here for Chilwell. He's got forward again to the byline, left-footed cross, back across goal, and Castagna will get there, and there's actually an offside flag against Chilwell in the first place anyway, so nothing, no matter what would have happened there, wouldn't have counted. So that goal puts Leicester under a lot of pressure again. Like I said at the beginning of this game, 4 defeats in a row in all competitions, 3 in the league, puts them 15th, just 2 points above the relegation zone. Brendan Rodgers already under pressure, and one of his former players, Ben Chilwell, who always gets a bit of grief when he comes back to these parts, answers that with a beautifully struck volley to give Chelsea the lead. And Bournemouth, with their big win at lunchtime here against Liverpool, putting Leicester under more pressure before they even kicked the ball today. Philip Billing with the goal at the Vitality earlier. The difference between Bournemouth and Liverpool, that's a bit of a... Liverpool have gone from beating Manchester United 7-0 to losing to the bottom side within a week. Sums up their season, unfortunately for them, but a big win for Gary O'Neill's Bournemouth that puts the sides around them, including Leicester, under a lot more pressure. Chelsea now come away with the ball after that throw in. Here's Felix, looking for Mudryk, but a good interception by Pereira, otherwise the Ukrainian was in behind there. And another result going against Leicester here in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Everton are leading Brentford 1-0 at Goodison Park. Dwight McNeil with an early opener there on Merseyside. That is not what Brendan Rodgers' side need. And a combination of that score, that jumps Everton up above Leicester in the 15th, puts them down in the 16th place, just 1 point above the relegation zone. So after Bournemouth's win at lunchtime, Everton now leading, Leicester behind. More pressure on Brendan Rodgers. Chelsea knocking the ball around at the back here with Koulibaly, the Senegalese international formerly of Napoli. Loose pass looking for Havertz, but he beats Dewsbury Hall to the ball. Now will play Loftus-Cheek away down the right hand side, midway inside the Leicester half. Ruben Loftus-Cheek tries to get past Faze, does. Good play by Loftus-Cheek. Faze, a big chunk of his shirt though. That's a foul there. The Belgian defender beating all ends up there by Loftus-Cheek. Great run by the England international down the right hand side. In the end, the only way Leicester could stop him was by Faze having a big chunk of his shirt, and that'll be a free kick to Chelsea on the right hand side, around 10 yards outside the penalty box. Not quite at the corner flag, but not far off it. We'll have a delivery here, either from the left foot of Chilwell or the right foot of Mudryk. And they've got Fofana in there, Havertz, Koulibaly. Plenty to aim at in the gold here for Chelsea, who lead 1-0 here at the King Power after 18 minutes. The former Leicester man, Ben Chilwell, the difference between the sides. And it's him and Mudryk who stand over this ball. Without Faze, by the way, got a booking for that foul. So he joins Fofana in the book. Chilwell left footed in, flicked on at the front post. Faze heads it up into the air, and in the end Ward, the Leicester goal, can pluck that out of the sky pretty much unchallenged. So Leicester will survive that one. And away they come here now with a Marte. That's a terrible pass. Kovacic is in here. Kovacic on the edge of the box. Havertz left-footed, blocked. Havertz will go chasing after it himself, and we'll get to it on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Havertz gives it back to Loftus-Cheek. Now Fernandes, under pressure from Mendy, will turn and give it to Fofana and Kovacic, who won that ball back, but now Chelsea have had to go backwards with it to keep possession. And Koulibaly in the end just lobs the ball forward, that is easily dealt with by Castagna. Back to Ward, who will knock it up the right-hand side of the pitch, looking for Pereira, who wins the header, but nobody on the end of it, and it'll be a throw into Chelsea right on halfway. So, as I say, Chelsea also under a bit of pressure, but victory over Leeds, victory over Dortmund, and now they lead here. Could things be on the way up for Graham Potter's Blues? Mudryk in the centre circle. And Kovacic will take it over halfway. Out left now to Chilwell. Kovacic wearing the captain's armband today, Croatian international. Goes down under challenge with Dewsbury Hall, and a free kick to Chelsea midway inside the Leicester half here. After 20 minutes gone, they lead 1-0, and they take it quickly with Fernandes, and he rolls it along the halfway line to Fofana. And now Havertz back to Koulibaly, and now Marc Cucurella, the Spaniard who followed Graham Potter from Brighton to West London in January. So in the summer he joined. So Cucurella, who left Brighton with Potter still in charge, and then ended up Potter back in charge of him. He'll take the throw in here on the left after Marte heads up ball out of play. Leicester do have some options, attacking options on the bench here as Pereira comes forward. Gets a bit lucky there, but we'll give it to Iheanacho. Iheanacho's into the box now, kind of stumbles and lets Kovacic back at him, and a good tackle by him will allow Chelsea to come away with it. But over a hit pass from Kovacic, and Leicester back in possession here with Dewsbury Hall, and now Mendy up over halfway in the centre circle. Maddison, the Leicester captain, back to Suter, who has played every minute of every Premier League game since joining from Stoke in January, the Australian international. However, some good news for Leicester today is that Johnny Evans is back on the bench after making only 2 appearances since October due to injury. The experienced defender, formerly at Manchester United, he's back and available for selection again. Also good news for Northern Ireland fans, after Michael O'Neill named Evans in his squad for the Euro 2024 qualifiers against San Marino in Finland coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Here is Suter with the ball, and Faes, of course, infamously scored 2 own goals in Leicester's 2-1 defeat at Anfield earlier this season. And now Mendy over halfway, gives it out left to Maddison. Mendy, Leicester just rolling the ball around midfield, now back to Suter and Amarte. And Chelsea quite happy just let Leicester roll the ball around here. Now there's Mendy, a bit more attacking emphasis here. Iheanacho looking for Daka, but Koulibaly steps across well, and Chilwell will smash that ball out of play for a throw in on the far side of the pitch, just inside the Chelsea half. Away come Leicester. Maddison now. Maddison gets to the byline, left foot across back, but nobody in blue can get there, and Kovacic can get it clear via Fernandes, and now Loftus-Cheek. But he gives it straight to Suter, who in turn gives it straight to Havertz. Left footed pass from Havertz up the middle for João Felix. João Felix onside. He's into the box, 1-1 with Danny Ward. Lovely chip. Oh, off the post. So close from João Felix. A beautiful chip off of Danny Ward's post. And Leicester survive. A lightning fast counter attack there from Chelsea. Havertz with a lovely left footed pass, picking out João Felix on the left. Got in behind the Leicester defence, 1-on-1 with Ward, who came rushing out, and Felix dinked it over the top of him and just off the post. Meanwhile, Leicester now at the other end. Good tackle by Loftus-Cheek on Castagna, and it's a goal kick, much to the Belgian international's frustration, but a good challenge there by Ruben Loftus-Cheek to stop the danger. Leicester coming straight up the other end, but wow, João Felix inches, maybe even centimetres away from doubling Chelsea's lead. We'll see it again here now. A lovely first touch by him, and as Ward came out, left-footed dink over him. I thought for all in the world it was going to nestle in the back of the net. Such a deft touch from the former Atletico Madrid man, off the foot of the post and out. Graham Potter was already half celebrating that one before it turned to hands on the head. So almost Chelsea doubling the lead, but instead we're 25 minutes in, they still lead 1-0 here. Ben Chilwell's opener silencing his boo boys here at the King Power. Leicester not out of this, so Iheanacho's into the box, gives it back to Maddison, his captain, on the left hand side. And now back to Faze. Castagne. The two Belgians passing it back and forth. Now Suter plays a 1-2 with Dewsbury Hall in the centre circle under pressure in Mudryk, but uses Mendy. And now Pereira on the right, who nearly sold a Marte short with Havertz bearing down on him. Leicester playing some risky football at the back here, but they'll come away with space now. Maddison midway inside the Chelsea half, just to the left of centre. Dewsbury Hall now comes to the edge of the penalty. Dewsbury Hall left footed shot. Oh, off the crossbar, up into the air, and Kepa will claim the loose ball. Goodness gracious me, not long after, Joao Felix hits the post at one end. Kieran Dewsbury Hall with a left footed shot from outside the box. I think it took a deflection, but right off the crossbar, and then it loops up into the air into the hands of Kepa. Yeah, it took a deflection off of Koulibaly, which could well be the difference between that ball hitting the back of the net and hitting the bar. As it looped up into the air off the face of the bar, much to the agony of the Leicester fans behind that goal. So as I say, they're far from out of this here. Chelsea had a chance to double their lead, but the upright stopped them, and then the other end, the upright stops Dewsbury Hall from equalising. Here's Fofana, another former Leicester man, to Fernandes in the centre circle. Fernandes will turn it around and give it back to Koulibaly. And then plays a weird looking pass there. It doesn't find Joao Felix. Instead, Pereira can intercept and give it all the way back to Danny Ward in the Leicester goal, all in black. And there's Suter. Gives it back to Ward under pressure in Mudryk, but uses Wout Faze as an outlet. And Castagne into the feet of Iheanacho, looks to play a 1-2, but Loftus-Cheek beats him to the return pass. And then Fofana under pressure from Daka will give it back to Kepa, who comes out of his box to use himself as an outlet. So Cucurella now on the left over halfway into the feet of Joao Felix. Chilwell and Cucurella again. Chelsea knocking around the middle of the park. Now Fofana over the halfway line. And Koulibaly. Kovacic. All the way back to Kepa, who comes out to the edge of his box to get that one. Now Koulibaly. Long ball forward looking for Loftus-Cheek, but Castagne wins a header. However, Fernandes first to lose ball. Havertz, nice pass into Joao Felix, good touch to get away from Marte, but Dewsbury Hall nicks it off his toes. And Leicester have the ball back here with Suter to his centre half partner Faze, who looks up, sees Mendy. Now Maddison dropping in his own half to get the ball. Maddison really is the talisman for this Leicester side. Not only wears the captain's armband, but does so much good creative work for Brendan Rodgers' side. Generally speaking, when Maddison plays well, Leicester play well, and well, you know what the other side of that is. Here he is on the ball now. Back to Castagne, back to Mendy, and Faze to Suter on the halfway line inside the centre circle now. And Marte and Iheanacho, a man who has been the scorer of many crucial goals during his time here at Leicester. He's actually got 4 in his last 7 despite his side's poor run of form, so he maybe could be the danger man today. It's good interception there by Chilwell under pressure from Daka. Gets it back to Kepa, and now Fofana can come away with the ball. So we're approaching halfway here at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City 0, Chelsea 1. Ben Chilwell, who else but Ben Chilwell, with the opener. And Chelsea have come close to a second through Joao Felix, who dinked the ball over Danny Ward only for it to come back off the post. And then Kieran Dewsbury Hall went up the other end and hit a deflected strike from outside the box that came off the bar. As Castagne does a good job of keeping that ball in deep inside his own half. Would have conceded a throw instead, but now Leicester can go forward with Mendy to Iheanacho over halfway. Kelechi Iheanacho Stops on the ball, then finds Castagna into Daka, who's out left now in line with the edge of the penalty area. Daka can't get through Koulibaly. Solid challenge with Senegal international. Now Mudryk comes away with the ball, gives it to Loftus-Cheek midway inside his own half. He plays a long pass looking for João Felix, but Amarte is there to head it away. Good job that he was, because if he didn't, Felix was right in behind and was one-on-one with Ward again. Now here's Dewsbury Hall, overruns that slightly and runs into Cucurella, but the Spaniard is adjudged to have conceded a foul, and Dewsbury Hall is on the floor writhing in pain, and that's going to be our third booking of the day, the second one for Chelsea. It's Cucurella. Dewsbury Hall looked like he'd taken a heavy touch there, and I think that's perhaps a little bit harsh. I think Dewsbury Hall's fallen over because he realises he's overhit it, but he does make solid contact with Cucurella's thigh, his hip there, and the Spaniard is booked right on the 30-minute mark. The second yellow for Graham Potter's side. So Dewsbury Hall is back to his feet as Maddison will take this free kick just 10 yards inside the Chelsea half, fairly central. He's going to knock it to the far side of the penalty area looking for Suter, but it's Havertz will head it away. That's poor from Maddison, and now Loftus-Cheek can break away down the right hand side, gives it to Havertz up over the halfway line, midway inside the Leicester half. He has support with him, tries to go past Maddison, who did a good job in recovering from his poor free kick there to stop him, and then wins a free kick of his own, but he'll be disappointed with the delivery of that free kick. James Maddison not up to his usual standards. Havertz, I think, by the looks of it, tried to nutmeg him. Maddison was having none of it and then drew the foul from the German. So 32 minutes gone here. It's Leicester 0, Chelsea 1. As said before the game, both these managers under pressure. Well, Brendan Rodgers even more so now. Graham Potter sees his side ahead again, having won 2 games within the last week. Leicester have some attacking options in the bench here. They've got Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy, and one of their January signings, the Brazilian Tete, formerly of Lyon, is on the bench. That's a poor pass from Mendy, but he's bailed out by a heavy touch by Chilwell and has the ball back before giving it to Suter and Faze midway inside their own half. Faze out left to Maddison, who takes the ball over halfway, Leicester number 10, and rolls it back to Suter in the centre circle. Mendy to Iheanacho, who gives it back to Suter, and now Amarte on the right hand side, just over halfway for Leicester. Dewsbury Hall and Faze. While we've only just played over half an hour, not time yet to panic for Leicester, but they need to get back into this game somehow. Here's Amarte looking to do so. A flick from Pereira to absolutely nobody, not sure who that was to, and any sort of Leicester pressure will die out with that, and it's a throw into Chelsea. Tried to backheel it, I think, to Dewsbury Hall, and a man in the crowd who's been under a fair bit of media scrutiny, Gary Lineker, of course, won't be hosting Match of the Day this evening, but he's here at the King Power watching his beloved Leicester City today. But they're a goal down here to Chelsea, with Fofana on the ball and Koulibaly and now Cucurella. Into the middle of the pitch for Mudryk, and lots of space here. Mikhailo Mudryk coming forward, gets a better Suter, has Loftus-Cheek out the right, using Loftus-Cheek into the box, back across. It's 2-0 Chelsea. It's João Felix with a second, and he will heap even more pressure on to Leicester, and it is the Portuguese who came so close to doubling the lead not long ago, and he puts the finishing touches on a lovely move there by Chelsea. Loftus-Cheek getting to the byline, squaring it back across, and João Felix, all he had to do was almost pass it goalwards, and he passes it past Danny Ward and immediately runs out to Loftus-Cheek to say thank you. It was Mudryk who started. Mudryk running hard down the middle past Harry Suter, got it to Loftus-Cheek, first time pass into João Felix. 2-0 Chelsea after 35 minutes, and Brendan Rodgers will be feeling that pressure more than ever. Graham Potter, on the other hand, he looks delighted with his side's efforts, and rightly so. 35 minutes played here at the King Power on Flash Scores UK mobile app and website in this unofficial Premier League broadcast. It's now Leicester City 0, Chelsea 2. And it's Joao Felix who has doubled the lead after coming so close to doing so not 10 minutes earlier. He does get his name on the score sheet now, the Portuguese international, much to the delight of Graham Potter. But I may have spoken too soon, for we are looking at a possible offside here. Andre Mariner has gone to VAR. And what's his decision? No, he's going to go have a look at it. So the celebrations may be cut short here for Chelsea. And they have been. Offside. Wow. Offside given, and the goal is disallowed. What a let-off for Leicester. Joao Felix thought he had doubled Chelsea's lead, but instead we've had a VAR decision that chalks it off, and that's a real shame for Chelsea. It was a great move, but their lead remains at 1 here after 35 minutes. Hopefully, for Leicester's sake, that's a wake-up call for them and not a sign of further things to come, as Cucurella steals in front of Iheanacho to win the ball back. Everton still leading Brentford 1-0, by the way. Brighton have taken the lead at Ellen Road, heaping more pressure on Leeds. Alexis McAllister with a goal. And Tottenham, they lead Nottingham Forest 1-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Harry Kane with that goal. Wow, it's so close. It really is. But Joao Felix is just offside. Just looking at that replay again. Bournemouth, of course, at lunchtime today, getting a big result, beating Liverpool 1-0 at the Vitality Stadium. Philip Billing with the winner there, Liverpool. And that's their season in a nutshell, really. They go from beating Manchester United 7-0 on Sunday to within a week losing to the bottom side in the league. Now, here's Leicester coming forward after getting let off the hook there with that ever so slight offside, and looking for Pereira there, but intercepted. But Mudryk couldn't get on the end of the pass from Joao Felix. It's back to Danny Ward. Now Faze to Sutter. A grey afternoon here in the East Midlands at the King Power Stadium. You're listening to me here on the Flash Score UK mobile app and website, as Iheanacho with a poor touch allows Koulibaly to take it away from him. And Enzo Fernandez plays a loose pass that goes out for a throw into Leicester. So a throw into Chelsea, actually. That must have deflected. It's Loftus-Cheek to take the throw in. He thought he had an assist there for Chelsea's second, but VAR decided otherwise. Now, Leicester coming forward, midway inside the Chelsea half. Cucurella hung a leg out there. He has to be careful. He's on a booking. Now here's Pereira into the box for Dewsbury Hall. Pereira on the right hand corner of the penalty area, left footed cross in towards the back post. Fofana easily heads it away, and Leicester will have to start the game with Faze in the centre circle. Faze out left to Castagna, the two Belgian international teammates. Now Sutter right on the centre spot, right to Amarte on the right. Stands up Joao Felix, plays a nice pass in behind for Daka, who chases it to the byline. Daka will get into the box, but Cucurella stops his progress well and clears. Now Joao Felix has the ball at his feet. Dance out of trouble, but only dances into Pereira. Now here's Daka. Daka left foot, a shot from the edge of the box. Oh, it's in the corner. It's an equaliser for Leicester. What a wonderful finish by Patson Daka, who slides on his knees to celebrate that one. A wonderful strike, left footed by Patson Daka, which beats Kepa, all ends up, nestles in the bottom corner, and Leicester go from thinking they're 2-0 down, and not 5 minutes later they're up the other end, and they equalise. It's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 1. And it is all square here at the King Power. A wonderful finish by the Zambian Patson Daka after Joao Felix gave the ball away. He had the ball, he was trying to dance out of trouble. In the end, he just danced into his teammate Ricardo Pereira, who gave the ball off to Daka, who hits a left-footed strike just outside the D. A wonderful finish by the Zambian, and he equalises for Leicester. An arrow right into the corner. Kepa could do nothing about that. But Joao Felix goes from thinking he's the hero to being the zero there. He gave the ball away in a dangerous position, but I'm sure nobody saw that coming. A wonderful finish by Patson Daka, past Kepa and into the bottom corner, and just over 5 minutes away from half time we have an equaliser. It's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 1. And those problems keep on arising for Graham Potter's Blues. They have so much attacking talent going forward, but they always look so porous at the back, and that's why they sit in 10th place. And there's a free kick to Leicester as the goal scorer Daka is fouled by Koulibaly midway inside his own half. So in 40 minutes, Brendan Rodgers has a reprieve. His Foxes have probably been second best for much of this half, but a stunning finish there from Patson Daka means that we are all square here at the King Power Stadium. Chelsea, by the way, have not won an away game since October. Now, here's Pereira coming forward to Madison. Madison in the edge of it. Madison into the box. Right footed, all good save by Kepa. And Fernandes heads away further. And Kovacic nods it on, looking for Havertz, but Dewsbury Hall will beat him to it. And Enzo Fernandez nearly comes away with it, but Mendy skips in. 41 minutes played, we're 1-1. Chelsea's last away win in any competition was the 25th of October against FC Salzburg in the Champions League. Now here's Iheanacho. Good tackle by Fernandes to win the ball off him as he tries to play the pass out left. Before that, their last league away win was in Aston Villa, a 2-0 victory at Villa Park on the 16th of October. That winless run, on the road extends to 10 games, and they'll need to up things here, else it could extend to 11. Here's Castagna, midway inside the Chelsea half. Iheanacho, Madison, Daka, Madison again. Dewsbury Hall 30 yards out, straight in front of goal. Gives it to Pereira, who's on the edge of the penalty area. Crosses blocked. Will find Daka. Here's a shot from Iheanacho. Good save by Kepa. Cucurella, poor clearance. Pereira blocked by Cucurella. It'll come back out to Mendy. Outside the box, Dewsbury Hall. Madison on the D. A strong tackle there by Fofana, and it's a free kick right on the edge of the D. Wesley Fofana right through the back of James Madison, and he has to be so careful. He's on a booking already, which I think Kieran Dewsbury Hall is just reminding Andre Mariner about, but there's no card out of the pocket this time. But a dangerous free kick now for Leicester, right on the edge of the D, as it was Madison fouled, but Kepa's had to make 2 good saves in the meantime to stop Leicester going ahead. First from Daka and then from Madison, and he may have to make another one here, the Spanish international keeper, right on the edge of the D here. A free kick, and we've got Iheanacho standing over it. Madison's nearby as Kepa now is organising his wall. There's Madison, Dewsbury Hall. Iheanacho stepped away, so it's going to be one off Madison or Dewsbury Hall to take this. On the edge of the D, 43 minutes here. How pivotal could this moment be? Leicester 1, Chelsea 1, a free kick to the Foxes right on the edge of the D here. Can either Madison or Dewsbury Hall get this up and over the wall and into the net? Mariner not happy with the Chelsea wall still, neither is Kepa, he's trying to organise it. Now the referee steps away, blows his whistle, and blocked. Oh dear me, well, what a letdown that was. Could have been a huge moment in that game, but instead the free kick is blocked, and Madison, in his attempts to chase after the ball, concedes a throw in deep inside his own half, and Chelsea are off the hook there very much. But that had so much potential, but in the end it was blocked by Fofana and away, and Mudryk beating Madison to the ball and winning the throw in. But now we're having a look at VAR here, and that ball, I thought at first, hit the head of Wesley Fofana, but in actual fact that looks like it struck his elbow. But referee Andre Mariner says nothing doing this time, so perhaps a little bit of a let-off there for Chelsea. They were given a scare there, but instead Fofana can clear from deep inside his own half. So Chelsea, after dominating so much this game, since conceding the equaliser, have had to do a lot of defending. Kovacic and Mudryk look to play a 1-2. And the Ukrainian is down here, but no foul given, and Chelsea will come away. And a clearance there by Amarte, blocked in the chest by Havertz. In fact, he might even have taken a boot to the chest there, the German international. He's down on the ground, and the Chelsea players gesticulating with Andre Marner. There's a high foot there. As we see here, it was Mudryk and Fernandes who won the ball back in midfield for Chelsea, and as Havertz went chasing after the loose ball with Amarte, Havertz goes down clutching his chest. There was a boot from the Leicester defender. Now the captain Mateo Kovacic talking with Andre Marner as we enter the 45th minute of this game. A thoroughly entertaining first half, and we're going to have another 4 minutes of it here, 4 minutes of added time. A real seesaw affair here. Chelsea taking the lead after only 12 minutes through Ben Chilwell. A left-footed volley that beat Danny Ward at his front post from the backside of the penalty area. Chelsea thought they'd gone 2-0 up. João Felix dinking the ball over Danny Ward, only for the ball to come off the post. Dewsbury Hall has hit the bar for Leicester shortly after that, and then Chelsea had the ball in the net again through João Felix after being played in by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, only for VAR to rule it out. João Felix then went up the other end, lost the ball in a dangerous position, and Patson Daka rifled a left-footed strike into the bottom corner past Kepa. So we enter into stoppage time here, and Kai Havertz is still on the ground. He certainly was on the receiving end of a boot from Amarte, and he just, as he lifts his shirt there to have a look, you can quite clearly see a graze of studs right across his chest. I'm sure that was painful. And Amarte was just on the follow through from a clearance and caught Havertz right in the chest. He's definitely grazed him, but Havertz is over by the sideline here and is going to return to the action. Leicester have the ball, so after all that, Leicester will come away with it. So that's eaten up 2 of the 4 added minutes here in stoppage time, so I'm sure we'll have some more. I see Iheanacho has the ball at his feet. And Marte looking for Iheanacho, but Cucurella wins it back. Here's Kovacic midway inside the Leicester half to Fernandes. There's Havertz back in the action. So back to centre circle for Fofana, who's had a bit of a not a altogether comfortable return to his old stomping ground, as Mudryk challenges there with Iheanacho, and that's going to be a throw into Leicester right on halfway as the ball comes off the Ukrainian, who has had some decent flashes in this game, but again kind of struggling to get a foothold in proceedings. Here's Pereira going to take that throw into the feet of Daka, but it's won back by Chilwell, and then Fernandes will give it all the way back to Kepa in the Chelsea goal, who immediately gives it back to Fernandes, and they'll come away now with Fofana. Wesley Fofana up over halfway now, nobody's stopped him yet, into the feet of Mudryk. Mudryk to Loftus-Cheek, will find the ball, bounces off him, finds his way to Fofana again. Now Loftus-Cheek shields up ball well from Castagna, and thought it was going to win through, but ball's going to stay in. A lovely back heel there by Castagna to get out of trouble via Mendy, and now away come Leicester over the halfway line. Daka, he's got Iheanacho ahead of him. Patson Daka, a good block by Koulibaly. If he hadn't, Iheanacho could have been in there. That was a dangerous counter-attack from Leicester. They do look dangerous on that counter, I must say. Havertz now will do some good defensive work and will win the ball back off of James Maddison. Now Kovacic to João Felix, back to Cucurella. So we have hit the 4 minutes here of added time, but with Havertz having received some treatment, there's at least a minute or so more to be added on here. Kovacic to Fofana, striding forward over halfway. Fofana though will lose it, and away come Leicester. Here's Iheanacho into Daka. Patson Daka now one-on-one with Koulibaly, and goes down on the challenge of Koulibaly, far too soft, never a free kick, and away come Chelsea. Here's Kovacic. I think Daka there realised that he wasn't going to get very far, didn't have much support. Here's Chilwell Midway inside the Leicester half, where Kovacic, Shaw Felix turns, tries to get away from Suter. He can't, but he plays a nice pass out right to Loftus-Cheek, right in the edge of the penalty area. Loftus-Cheek dummies Castagna, gives it back to Shaw Felix in the edge of the box, hits a shot low, blocked by Faze. We'll come back to Fofana, and now Fernandez, 30 yards out, scoops it through. Havertz is one-on-one here, dinks it over Ward. It's into the back of the net. Is it going to count? No, it's offside. Well, a lovely, lovely attempted effort. Oh, and it has counted, has it? There's a bit of confusion here round the King Power, and by the looks of it, it certainly has stood for now. I'll have another look at this. He is onside. It's 2-1. What a goal. Dear me, the way Havertz, with absolutely no celebration, it looked to me as if he thought he was offside. But Chelsea, right at the death of this first half, looked like they're going to go in 2-1 up. Kai Havertz with a lovely little dink over Danny Ward. It's as if time stood still there. A lovely pass. Enzo Fernandez just lobbed it, scooped his foot right underneath it, lobbed it, took out the whole Leicester defence. Havertz was on the same wavelength as him, and he gets a touch. He touches it over Danny Ward, and in the 6th minute of added time, at the end of this first half, Chelsea take the lead. And surely that will almost be the last play of the half. Dewsbury Hall knocks it long. Real confusion there. Kai Havertz, absolutely no celebration. I think he must have thought he was offside, and it is half-time. And what an end of the half for Chelsea, who have been under the cosh since conceding the equaliser. But Enzo Fernandez's lovely dink over the top, and Kai Havertz just lobs it over Danny Ward, and it's 2-1 to Chelsea at half-time. A genuinely really entertaining first half. Chelsea taking the lead through Ben Chilwell early on after just 12 minutes. Then an equaliser, Patson Daka, a wonderful finish on 39 after João Felix had a goal ruled out for offside. And now Kai Havertz, with almost the last kick of the half, beats the offside trap and dinks it over Danny Ward for a lovely finish, meaning that Leicester go in behind at half-time. Join me here for another entertaining second half on the Flash Score website and app. At half-time at the King Power, it's Leicester City.
When 4 minutes added on here at the King Power, it's Leicester 1, Chelsea 1, but it's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. TalkSport's Ollie Klink.
Tottenham 2, Nottingham Forest 0 at the break. Harry Kane at the double to put Spurs in full control here. He got his first on 19 minutes, heading home Pedro Porro's cross from the left, and then doubled his and Tottenham's tally from the spot 10 minutes before half-time after Richarlison was hacked down by Joe Worrell inside the box. Forest simply haven't been at the races. They've hardly created anything and have been wasteful in possession, and that first half will be a real tonic for Spurs manager Antonio Conte after a difficult couple of weeks. You can hear the second half of this one over on TalkSport 2, but at half-time here, it's Tottenham 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
So Spurs in front, live on TalkSport 2. What's happened in the first half, because the whistle's gone at Elland Road? Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
It's Leeds 1, Brighton 1, a game that exploded into life just after Alexis McAllister headed Brighton in front on the half-hour mark. It was good work down the right-hand side from Pascal Gross. He dummied one way then the other, put the cross into the far post. Mitoma headed unselfishly back across goal, and McAllister headed in unmarked from close range. But then up the other end, Jack Harrison nicked the ball back on the Leeds left, squared it to Bamford, who unleashed a shot. He did take a deflection that took it past Steele off the underside of the crossbar. It was a great shot from 20 yards out. That levelled it at 1-1. Within 60 seconds, Bamford had a great chance to fire Leeds in front. He was in on goal on his left foot, but he hit the side netting. Then, just after that, another chance at the other end. Brighton, Mitoma, who's got Ayling on toast here, ran in behind him, beat the offside trap, ran into the area, squared it to McAllister, unmarked 12 yards out. Everyone expecting the net to bulge, but he put it wide. It should have put the visitors back in front, Trevor Sinclair. The game really has opened up. Both sides trying to hit each other on the counter.
Yeah, listen, I think Brighton are a nightmare to play against. You know, they either bop you, keep the ball, and then get someone in a little pocket, usually McAllister, who's put on a 45 minutes of exhibition there in the first half. His spatial awareness is such a top player.
or if you try and squeeze high, they go for the direct one over the top, and it's usually Dunk looking for the one from Mitoma over the top of Ayling. Ayling's trying to get close to Mitoma because he's a dangerous player. If you get too close, the ball's going straight over the top and he's beating you without even beating you. So it must be tough for Javi Garcia, but he's being brave. He's leaving 3 against 3 at the back, and he's giving himself a chance and his team a chance to press high and have some kind of success. 1-1. It could have been 3 or 4. McAllister's chance at the end there he's got to score. He's got to hit the target from about 10 yards. But interesting game.
Yep, Leeds 1, Brighton 1.
Well, we've got a goal. You wouldn't know it from the lack of celebrations. We've got a goal here at the King Power Stadium, and Chelsea are 2 up. And what a goal it was, Ian Stringer.
Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2, and it is audacious. Enzo Fernandez scoops it from 30 yards out into the 18-yard box, and Kai Havertz might as well have a cigar on at the time. His left boot past Danny Ward. It's his outrageous finish from Kai Havertz, but it's all in Enzo Fernandez for me. 35 yards out, he scoops it. He's put his foot under the ball, scooped out. Saw Angel Di Maria score a goal like that here for Manchester United against Leicester City, and people around us, Adrian, clapped. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same then. No celebration, I don't know why. One of the best goals I've seen at this stadium in a long, long time. They deserve it. Leicester 1, Chelsea 2.
It's a brilliant, brilliant goal. We're still playing in the first half here, actually, at the King Power Stadium. There's some other goals that have gone in. Yeovil have equalised at Chesterfield in the National League, and in League 2, struggling Crawley have just gone 2 up against Harrogate. We'll have all the half-times for you very shortly, but what a first half we have had here at the King Power Stadium. It's been a treat for a neutral like me. Chelsea lead, rounding up the 45 for us, Ian Stringer.
Half-time, Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2, and over the course of the piece, I certainly think that Graham Potter's men deserve their half-time lead. Brendan Rodgers missed opportunities. Amasi with a header from 2 yards. They hit the bar, and there was a big shout for VAR penalty, by the way. Wesley Fofana, former Fox, in the wall, just jotted his elbow out, seemingly to stop the ball. He got away with it, but Chelsea have just scored a beauty. They opened the scoring in 11 minutes, did the visitors. Chilwell, the former Fox, with a volley. Goalkeeper Danny Ward will not want to see that one back again on wherever he watches it tonight. Chelsea took the lead. Patson Daka levelled it up in the 39th with a beauty. He'd gone 15 without a goal, and the Zambian with his left boot wrapped it round the post from 20 yards. And actually, I'm going to give the last 10 minutes, maybe 5, to Leicester. I think they look good. They forced Kepa into saves. They forced free kicks, but wouldn't you know it, Potter's men on the counter. Enzo Fernandez scooping it into Havertz. Havertz past Danny Ward, and Chelsea have a deserved half-time lead. Not the end of the goals on the King Power. Leicester 1, Chelsea 2.
Brilliant first half Chelsea lead, and what a brilliant goal to give them that lead. Set up by a World Cup winner and finished by a Champions League winner. Enzo Fernandez chipping it through for Kai Havertz with a volleyed finish that left Danny Ward with no chance. Chelsea leading at the break, looking for 3 straight wins. And Ian mentioned there where to watch it tonight. No match of the day, it's no problem. At 10:30 this evening, TalkSport brings you Game of the Day. Every single Premier League game dissected, analysed and comprehensively covered with a cheeky TalkSport twist as well. You can listen on DAB, the TalkSport app. Ask your smart speaker to play TalkSport, or watch live on the TalkSport YouTube channel. We are going round the grounds for half times. Let's head to Goodison Park. Whistle's gone there. Mickey Graham, Matt Jones.
Thoroughly entertaining 45 minutes here, and it's Everton who lead at the break. Everton 1, Brentford 0, and they scored within 35 seconds. Dwight McNeil brilliantly converting from Decore's pass as he shifted the ball one way and then another, and then fired into the far bottom corner past the outstretched left hand of David Raya. From there on, Everton, to be honest, should have scored a hatful more. Onana put over the bar from close range. Keane missed a header, and Iwobi forced a terrific save out of Raya as well from point-blank range. But perhaps the most controversial moment of the game came just before half-time. Gray having a goal ruled out for handball. VAR checking it meticulously before deciding it shouldn't stand, harshly in the view of many here in the stands, although most of them, I have to say, will be wearing blue. Brentford have struggled to get into the game. Tony's barely had a touch, and their only real chance fell to Mbuemo, who had a 20-yard effort saved by Jordan Pickford, who's got the England manager Gareth Southgate here watching today. I wonder what he's made of what he's seen so far from a number of his players, including, of course, Tony Tarkowski and others. But Mickey Gray alongside me, and I've seen Everton a lot this season. I've not seen them play with this intensity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The last couple of home games that I've been to against Leeds United and against Arsenal, they've had to do that. They've had to dig deep, and they've certainly had to do that in the first 45 minutes. But they should have been out of sight. The second goal, in my eyes, albeit it's been cancelled out by VAR, should have counted. But what a brilliant strike from Dwight McNeil after those 30-odd seconds. It was a super start to the game. Brentford have had chances. They've came to try and win this football match. They're going to have to come up with something special in the second half, because Everton are not going to go away. But I've enjoyed that. I think it's been a really good 45 minutes.
What do they do? Because they're getting overrun in midfield, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think there's times this season where they've played a fight at the back. They could change the system up. They could possibly do that in the second 45 minutes. But they've got to get a lot more service up to Ivan Toney. He's had that glancing header. He had that strike that Jordan Pickford had to parry away. But other than that, he's not really been into the game. It's because they can't get the ball up to him. The two wide players, if you think of Dansgaard and Buemo, they've had a couple of little looks at goal. But Jordan Pickford, anything just been down his throat. He hasn't really had to make a great save. So, yeah, all to work for in the second half.
Everton on cloud 9 at the moment. Everton 1, Brentford 0 at the break.
Round the grounds in the Championship before we bring you all the half-times. Turf Moor first of all, Andy Buckley.
Half-time, Burnley 1, Wigan Athletic 0, top versus bottom, and you can tell Burnley brimming with confidence, Wigan pretty poor. Burnley swept into the lead on 14 minutes when Nathan Teller headed in a Zazori cross, his 15th goal of the season. The two wide players, Zazori and Teller, a real handful for the visitors. Wigan's hopes took a further blow when Rekic fouled Teller, his second booking, and Wigan were down to 10 men. Yet for all their pressure, Burnley almost conceded an equaliser when Corker's close-range header was finger-tipped away by Muric, who then saved from Fletcher. A glimmer of hope then for Wigan. Half-time, Burnley 1, Wigan 0.
What's happened to Bramall Lane? TalkSport, Alan Biggs.
Absolutely nothing. Sheffield United 0, Luton 0. We've got a 45-minute game here, Adrian. Looking forward to the match actually starting in the second half. This first 45, a total non-event. Luton sharper to the ball without threatening. Sheffield United so laboured, poor in possession, playing it safe, and to a backdrop of groans from the crowd. It's as if a draw will suit, and that's just not like them. No major threats to either goal, not even much bigger in the tackles, although Jayden Bogle was cautioned for a foul that saw Luton's Pelly Ruddock hobble off. Sheffield United 0, Luton 0.
Well, a draw may suit because of this at the Swansea.com Stadium. Half-time, Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, the break, Swansea 1, Middlesbrough 0. João Peru's goal on 15 minutes. The difference between the sides. It was a super move from the Swans as well. They kept the ball alive, kept Borough pinned on the edge of their area, pushing them deeper before Manning's cross from the left was superbly guided into the far corner by the Dutchman. His 14th goal of the season. It was a cracking start from the home team, but informed Borough got motoring from around about 25 minutes. The home side then hanging on for the rest of the half as Borough swarmed forward and pressed right up on the Swans' backline. But despite bossing possession, a combination of committed defending and overplaying has helped preserve the Swans' clean sheet. Super game this. At the break, Swansea 1, Borough 0.
All the half-times coming up. Let's go to Reading. TalkSport's Dave Rowe.
Reading 0, Millwall 1. Comfortable first half here for Millwall as they look to move back into the top six. There's some controversy about the goal, a penalty given on 10 minutes when Bradshaw played Fleming in, brought down by Joe Lumley on the edge of the area. Just inside was the verdict, and Andreas Vogelshammer duly converted the spot kick. Little has happened since then. Millwall threatened with set pieces. Reading haven't threatened at all. Only one shot on goal from the home side. The effort by Hendrick easily blocked by Leonard. Paul Winter's side need to be well better in the second half. Reading 0, Millwall 1.
And half-time at Loftus Road, Jake Robson.
QPR 1, Watford 0. Gareth Ainsworth's men well worth their lead at the break. Their goal came in the 15th minute. Tim Bunham getting the better of Chowdhury, bursting into the area before a calm finish tucked away past Backman. Watford with one shot on target all half, and even that was a free kick smacked into the Rangers' wall by Loser. Chris Wilder will want more from his men after the break. QPR 1, Watford 0.
Jordan Hume for Altrincham at York City in the FA Trophy quarter-finals. 1-0. Half-time's coming up. Let's go to Fratton in League One. Alex Crook.
Portsmouth 0, leaders Sheffield Wednesday 1. A scoreline that maybe doesn't reflect what we've seen in the first half. The Owls taking the lead with their first meaningful attempt on goal. It came from a long punt upfield, flicked on by Michael Smith, and his strike partner Josh Windass buried his shot from a tight angle beyond the Pompey goalkeeper Matt Macy. Wednesday have created precious little to add to their lead. Pompey have enjoyed a lot of possession but have struggled to find a way past a visiting defence who've conceded just 22 goals all season. Joe Piggott and Connor Ogilvie have both seen shots blocked, but they've had a few melees in the Wednesday penalty area. Barry Bannan Ballin, Adrian, not for the first time, I'll be saying this, an absolute class act in the Wednesday midfield. How's he playing in League One? He might not be for much longer. It's Pompey 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
This is Game Day. Half-time classifieds.
In the Premier League, a full-time from earlier, live on TalkSport, it finished Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0, Everton 1, Brentford 0, Leeds 1, Brighton 1, Leicester 1, Chelsea 2, Spurs 2, Forest 0, Palace Man City is at 5:30. In the Championship, a result on TalkSport 2, it finished Bristol City 2, Blackpool 0. Half-times now, Birmingham 2, Rotherham 0, Burnley 1, Wigan 0, Coventry 0, Hull 0, Preston 0, Cardiff 0, QPR 1, Watford 0, Reading 0, Millwall 1, Sheffield United 0, Luton 0, Swansea 1, Middlesbrough 0, West Brom 1, Huddersfield 0. In League 1, Barnsley 0, Plymouth 0, Bolton 0, Ipswich 1, Burton 2, Wickham 0, Charlton 0, Accrington 1, Exeter 1, Lincoln 1, Fleetwood 0, Port Vale 0, Forest Green 1, Bristol Rovers 2, MK Dons 1, Cambridge United 0, Oxford United 1, Derby County 2, Peterborough 0, Cheltenham 2, Portsmouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Shrewsbury 2, Morecambe 1. In League 2, Barrow 0, Sutton 0, Colchester 0, Stockport 1, Crawley 2, Harrogate 0, Doncaster 2, Wimbledon 1, Gillingham 1, Tranmere 0, Grimsby 0, Rochdale 0, Hartlepool 1, Northampton 0, Mansfield Orient was postponed, Newport 0, Bradford 1, Stevenage 3, Walsall 1, Swindon 0, Carlisle 0. FA Trophy quarter-finals, Aldershot 0, Halifax 1, Gateshead 0, Farnsley Celtic 0, Maidstone 1, Barnet 2, York 0, Altrincham 1. In the National League, Chesterfield 1, Yeovil 1, Eastleigh 0, Oldham 0, Torquay 0, Wealdstone 1, Woking 1, Maidenhead 0, Wrexham 1, Southend 0. Notts County against Dorking is at 5:20. In the Scottish Cup quarter-finals, Celtic were 3-0 winners at Heart of Midlothian at a lunchtime game. That is now finished. Half-times now, Scottish Championship, Morton 0, Partick 0. Scottish League 1, Airdrie 3, Kelty Hearts 0. Clyde 1, Queen of the South 0, FC Edinburgh 0, Alloa 1, and Peterhead Dunfermline was postponed. In Scottish League 2, Albion Stranraer was postponed, Annan Athletic 2, Elgin 1, Dumbarton Forfar was postponed, Stenhousemuir 1, East Fife 0, and Stirling 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1.
Game Day live on TalkSport with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Crystal Palace versus Man City live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
The Cheltenham Festival is nearly here, and when you bet fair during the build-up, you get so much more to build your roar. So build your multiples, like doubles, triples, and lucky 15s, to build your odds. Build your multiple, build the roar! Get a £10 free bet when you bet £10 worth of multiples, available every day at Cheltenham. Betfair.
Opt-in required. Free bet valid for 48 hours and racing multiples only. Min combined odds 2.0. Max 1 per day. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Game Day live on TalkSport with Car Finance 24/7. Get your finance sorted first, then choose your car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
Game Day. Get all the goals on your radio.
Game Day live
on TalkSport.
You're listening to Game Day live on TalkSport. This is where you get all of the football action on a Saturday afternoon. Best place for it. We take you around the grounds.
Mudryk can't control it and will have to go back and chase it, and that might end the danger for now. So it's João Felix who is replaced by Conor Gallagher. Felix, who came close to scoring twice, hit the post after a deft little dink over Danny Ward, and then had a goal ruled out for offside. But his day is done at half-time. Unclear yet as to whether that's an injury or just a tactical sub. So there's Mudryk goes down, but no free kick given, and Danny Ward will clear up the pitch. So it was an entertaining first half here at the King Power. So Chelsea took lead. Ben Chilwell's left-footed volley catching Danny Ward out his near post after 12 minutes. João Felix hit the post, then had a shot disallowed, or goal disallowed for offside. Meanwhile, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall had a deflected effort from range, hit the bar, where Patson Daka, the Zambian international striker, equalised for Leicester with a rasping drive past Kepa, also at his near post. But then right on the stroke of half-time, with basically the last touch of the half, Enzo Fernandez scooped the ball over the top of the Leicester defence to Kai Havertz, who beat the offside trap before meeting it first time and just guiding it over the top of the onrushing Danny Ward with a really nice finish, meaning that it's Chelsea in this game between the two sides under pressure who lead. It's a free kick to Leicester here, but in the meantime Mikhailo Mudryk is down holding his foot and looking at the challenge again from Harry Suter. He just catches the top of his foot. The big Australian centre half. They signed from Stoke in January. Mudryk, of course, from Shakhtar Donetsk, also in January. So he's going to receive a bit of attention here. Chelsea, of course, onto the spotlight for over £300 million spending in January alone. Mudryk totaled 88 million of that, while Enzo Fernandez, the man who set up Havertz's goal, he had over 100 million of it. Leicester, meanwhile, spending just 30 million on both Suter and the Danish defender Victor Christensen, who is injured today, not in the squad. As Mudryk's down getting some attention with Danny Ward, an excellent save again from his former teammate Wes Fofana. That would have really been at an insult to injury if both former Leicester men got on the score sheet for Chelsea. Mudryk is back on his feet, a slight limp, but he's over the sideline. He looks like he'll be fit enough to continue. Free kick. That's Faze, just to the left of the centre circle. Belgian centre half comes forward, gives it to his international teammate Castagna. Looks for Madison, but they weren't quite on the same page, and Fofana is able to use his strength just to guide that ball out for a goal kick and away from danger. As we've played 5 minutes now in this second half at the King Power, and it is Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. A very entertaining first 45. I'm sure the second will be no different. For those of you maybe that didn't see it, Bournemouth defeated Liverpool 1-0 at lunchtime today at the Vitality Stadium, bringing the Reds back down to earth after that 7-0 win over Manchester United. Leicester knocking the ball around midfield. Elsewhere, there's a ball into the box over Madison. We'll park that for now. It's going to be a throw-in to Leicester midway inside the Chelsea half. Elsewhere, Everton 1, Brentford 0, Leeds 1, Brighton 1, and Tottenham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. So results at the minute not quite going the way of Leicester. That Bournemouth win and Everton being on top, combined with them down a goal here, is not going to do much for the heaps of pressure that Brendan Rodgers finds himself under. As I said earlier, during and after their 1-0 defeat at St Mary's as Southampton last week, Leicester fans chanting to get him out. Now here's Leicester coming forward. Now Iheanacho overruns that one and slides hard into Enzo Fernandez, and that's not a clever tackle by the Nigerian, and he is going to pick up a booking. The fourth yellow card of the day, sacked 2 to each side. Yeah, it's a really not clever tackle. It's actually Ricardo Pereira who ends up sliding. It was Iheanacho had the ball, but it was Ricardo Pereira who slides in on the Argentinian World Cup winner. And really not clever by him. He was probably lucky to escape a booking after just barely 2 minutes, after he raked his studs down the ankle of his international teammate Felix. I don't know if Shaw Felix is maybe still feeling the effects of that challenge, which is maybe why he was withdrawn. But no, it's not clever at all there by Pereira. So he goes into Andre Marner's book 6 minutes into the second half here, and Kepa just inside the penalty box in his all luminous green will get a chance to knock this long. Leicester, of course, playing at home, all in blue with the white collar on their shirts. Chelsea wearing a sort of gold beige number, which is all the same colour shirt and shorts with white socks with orange trim on them. So not quite what you'd associate traditional Chelsea colours at this change trip for them today. As Faze almost loses control, and that's Gallagher in there, but he's strong enough to win the ball. Looks to play in Daka, but it's too long for him. And Koulibaly will clear the danger via Loftus-Cheek. And now Fofana strides out of defence and wins a throw-in midway inside his own half for the Blues. You're listening here to flashscore.co.uk and on the mobile app, this unofficial Premier League audio commentary. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. So we've played 8 minutes in the second half. Chelsea knocked the ball up the right hand touchline. Faze will head it back, but the lines inside the ball's already crossed the sideline. That'll be a throw in for Chelsea midway inside their own half. There's Fofana there, another one of two former Leicester men on the side. There's a certain handball there by Kai Havertz. That's about as certain as they come there. You can see his arm move towards the ball as he controlled that in the middle of the park. Perhaps lucky not to escape a booking there. Yeah, as clear-cut a handball decision as they come, and Leicester get the free kick going on halfway as Mendy gives it to Amarte. There's a 1-2 with Pereira, who has finally found Andre Marner's notebook, perhaps a bit later than many would have thought. Away, Gallagher, Maddison goes down under the challenge with him, the two England internationals, but nothing doing. Leicester still have the ball, the Iheanacho. Dewsbury Hall plays a 1-2 with Mendy, and then goes backwards to give it to Harry Suter in the centre circle, the Australian, who gives it to Faze, who gives it to Amarte on halfway. Here's Dewsbury Hall, who I said struck the crossbar with a deflected effort from outside the box in the first half. Pereira in the feet of Daka, who flicks it on Iheanacho. Iheanacho's in the box, gets a toe on it. Kepa is out and can block that one, and has paid the price for that. I think a big collision between him and Iheanacho. A nice flick on by Daka, just too long for Iheanacho. Kepa read it well. In fact, Iheanacho didn't even get a touch on it, as Kepa was able to, he spilled it up into the air before pouncing on the loose ball, but he was clattered there by Iheanacho and is down, clutching his shoulder, the Chelsea goalkeeper. A nice pass into feet there by Pereira and flick on by Daka, but Kepa was alert and alive to it to stop the Nigerian from adding another goal. He scored 4 in his last 7 despite Leicester's struggles of late. Those struggles include 4 defeats in a row, including being dumped out of the FA Cup here 10 days ago by Blackburn Rovers in the Championship. Before that, it looked like things were beyond the upturn for them. They started February scoring 2 games in a row, beating Aston Villa 4-2 at Villa Park before Tottenham were disposed of here 4-1. And it looked like they'd really turned the corner, but since then there's been defeats 4 in a row. They said they lost last weekend at St Mary's against fellow strugglers Southampton. They've been beaten in the Cup by Blackburn Rovers here the midweek before. And then before that it was Arsenal who came here and came away with a 1-0 win and a 3-0 defeat at Old Trafford. So admittedly a couple of difficult fixtures in there, but say Brendan Rodgers under big pressure and his side have just over half an hour to change it here. I'll be live this evening too at Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. Join me again for that one on flashscore.co.uk and on the mobile app. Other results: Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0 at lunchtime today. Everton lead Brentford 1-0 at Goodison Park. Leeds and Brighton are 1-1 at Ellen Road. Here, of course, it's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2 as they go on the attack down the right-hand side. Elsewhere, Tottenham lead Nottingham Forest 2-0, by the way, a Harry Kane double, including a penalty there in North London for them. Iheanacho now to Dewsbury Hall in the middle of the park. Maddison dances away from Kovacic, looks for Dewsbury Hall, and no foul against Gallagher, but Leicester still have the ball in the box. Castagna with a cross blocked by Fofana, and Havertz will come away with it. Dewsbury Hall is still, as Maddison actually has stayed down after that phase of play, and Leicester will eventually knock the ball out of play. Midway inside their half, Maddison holding his ankle here. Let's see here, who is it catches him? It's Enzo Fernandez, who stands just on the top of his foot near his ankle. Accidental, I'm sure, but it looks a real sore one from Maddison. And Kalidou Koulibaly is actually standing over him remonstrating. I'm not sure what he's saying to him. definitely it's a late tackle by Fernandez, nothing rash about it. It was just before Dewsbury Hall tumbled under a challenge from Gallagher that wasn't punished. Fernandez, though, now is over to offer his apologies, but I don't think were well received by Madison, who's still on the ground in a bit of pain. And looks like Harvey Barnes is getting some instructions from Brendan Rodgers, as is Tete, the January loan signing from Lyon. As I said earlier, they do have attacking options at bench. Now they'll be hoping this isn't a forced change and their captain and playmaker James Maddison is forced off, but I'm sure as we approach the hour mark here, attacking subs were probably on Brendan Rodgers' mind anyway. But Maddison is still down receiving treatment. There's a stretcher at the side of the pitch, although they seem to have been told to halt where they are. We've got a couple of England internationals in the stand. Gary Lineker is here watching his beloved Leicester, of course. In the headlines, he won't be on Match of the Day tonight. His former England teammate Peter Shilton, England and Leicester teammate Peter Shilton also here. Maddison is on his feet now, although limping quite heavily. And has something to say to Koulibaly. As said, the Senegalese international was standing over him and had a few things to say. Maddison now, I say, will limp heavily towards the sideline after being caught there by Enzo Fernandez. So as they approach the hour mark, they'll be hoping that their captain and number 10 can continue. It's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2 here as we hit the 60-minute mark at the King Power Stadium. Brendan Rodgers looking on pensively as we're back underway as the ball's passed all the way back to Danny Ward, the Leicester goal, and we'll get going again here with Wout Faes, the Leicester number 3, the Belgian centre half, as Amarte now will take the ball up over halfway for the Foxes, who have been as given as good as they've got today. Now Faes slightly to the left of halfway, Castagna back to Faes, who will go back again even further to Mendy. Now Marte on the right hand side, just over halfway, closed down by Kovacic, finds Pereira. Now Dewsbury Hall, middle of the Chelsea half. Dewsbury Hall, Havertz nicks in, takes the ball off him, but Suter climbs higher over Mudryk, who has been a little bit lost in this game. Oh, nice flick there by Pereira, but Koulibaly was wise to it and stopped Dewsbury Hall from getting on the end of it. And now Gallagher has robbed Leicester man the ball here. It was Maddison just back on the pitch, robbed by Gallagher. Plays in Mudryk, who's going to the byline here. Challenges with Suter, and in the end the last touch comes off the Ukrainian and out for a goal kick. So some good play again there from Chelsea. They look dangerous on the counter-attack. Gallagher robbing Maddison, playing it into Mudryk, who got a bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder with Suter, and there's only ever going to be one winner there. It's a goal kick to Leicester. Castagna, poor pass, half intercepted by Gallagher. Mudryk gets a foot in there, and Chelsea do have the ball with Loftus-Cheek, and he'll roll it back to Koulibaly on halfway. So some dangerous passing around the back there from Leicester. Doesn't look like it's cost them too badly here, but away with the ball comes Fofana. Loftus-Cheek on halfway now is Fernandez, who pokes a pass to Cucurella. Now Kovacic comes up over halfway. Out left to Chilwell, midway inside the Chelsea half, the man who opened the scoring here at his former stomping ground. Kovacic, the Croatian international and Chelsea captain. Fofana, Loftus-Cheek, one-on-one with Castagna, goes inside him. Loftus-Cheek tries to play a pass through to Mudryk, does find him via deflection off Faes. Now here's Gallagher into the box, left-footed cross looking for Mudryk, but it goes over the top of everybody and will bounce out for a goal kick on the far side, so Leicester will survive that one. Conor Gallagher has been busy since coming on, the man who is part of Gareth Southgate's World Cup squad in Qatar, since replacing João Felix. Still unsure as to why the Portuguese international was withdrawn. He had a busy first half, but had been caught with a couple of hard challenges. Here's Gallagher now, Havertz in the edge of the box. Kai Havertz, right-footed shot, good block by Faes, and that's going to go out. It's actually the last touch came off Havertz. That'll be a goal kick under a lot of pressure there from the Belgian defender, but Leicester again messing around at the back there, and in actual fact when you see it, Havertz knocked the ball off one foot onto the other and ballooned it well wide, but Leicester just messing around a little bit too much at the back. They've done it again, given away by Amarte, and Loftus-Cheek now has it on halfway, so Leicester being very careless with possession today, especially in dangerous areas. They're already 2-1 down. It could end up hurting them even more. Mendy now with a heavy touch almost invited Mudryk onto that, but instead he gets it away to Dewsbury Hall, who is fouled by Cucurella just inside his own half. He's on a booking, but Andre Mar's not going to get out this time. Now away come Leicester. Dewsbury Hall midway inside the half, into the feet of Maddison to Castagna in the box. Castagna rides the challenge from Loftus-Cheek, and Koulibaly gets in to knock it out for a corner. So good attacking play there for Leicester, and they get their first corner here of the second half after 63 minutes. Castagna, good attacking play. Loftus-Cheek with a really risky slide challenge there. Castagna, if he'd gone down there, it was almost certain penalty, but he rode the tackle, and Koulibaly had to knock it behind for a corner. So James Maddison back to full fitness here. He's going to take a right-footed in-swinging corner for Leicester. He's going to take it short to Dewsbury Hall. He plays it back to Maddison. Now to Pereira in the right corner of the penalty area. He lofts it into the back post, and the header's won back there by Loftus-Cheek. And Iheanacho will see it out for a corner from the other side this time for Leicester. So a bit of a training ground move there. Didn't quite pay off, but they're going to get another go from a corner after Loftus-Cheek rose above Iheanacho to nod it behind. And it's Maddison who will trot over to much applause from the home supporters to take this corner. He's got some big targets in there like Suter, Faze, Castagna are all in there. And Chelsea will be wary of them. In it comes onto the penalty spot. Faze wins a header up into the air, headed away by Fernandes, who ends up on his back. Mudryk wins a header, and Iheanacho will get the ball down Dewsbury Hall into the back post. Kepa comes out for it, punches away, not Flair. Castagna back in towards goal, blocked on the line by Gallagher. It's come back to a Leicester shirt. It's Mendy, crosses in, blocked by Cucurella, claims a handball, but it's Castagna. Will chase it back out, and did that ball go out for a throw? No, it didn't. Leicester still have the ball, and then win a throw of Maddison. Almost an equaliser there. Kepa come out, got a slight hand to it, not convincing enough. Castagna drilled it back towards goal, and Conor Gallagher on the goal line saves Chelsea's stay there. And now Leicester are preparing a triple substitution here on 65 minutes. So Nampalys Mendy will be one of the first men withdrawn here. He'll come off. He's going to be replaced by Boubakary Soumaré. That's the first sub. Like for like midfield sub, some fresh legs in midfield. Coming off as well, Daniel Amarte and Patson Daka, the goal scorer. So it's Daka, Amarte and Mendy all coming off. And coming on, it looks like it'll be Harvey Barnes, Tete and Boubakary Soumaré. So a triple sub here from Brendan Rodgers. He's really rolling the dice here as we hit 65 minutes. The goal scorer Daka coming off, and along with Amarte and Mendy. I could barely get my words out there. That was a real exciting passage of play. Only for Conor Gallagher's block on the line to stop Castagna, we could have been here at 2-2. But instead, Leicester still down 2-1 as Brendan Rodgers rolls the dice. Soumaré, Tete and Barnes all on here. It's Iheanacho, Pereira. Tete gets his first touch, tries to flick it around the defender, but Cucurella wins it off him. And now it comes out to Barnes, the edge of the box. Good block again by Gallagher. Really strong challenge by him. And away comes Loftus-Cheek now, trying to get away from Soumaré. He does, into the feet of Mudryk. Mudryk runs at Faith. Mudryk still going here. Mudryk's into the box. He's got Suter in front of him. Mudryk forced wide, blocked by Suter. And the ball is going to bounce out for a corner. And Mudryk there, that's probably his best spell of the game. He's been well kept out of things by Harry Suter and others, but the Ukrainian there really causing Leicester problems, driving at the heart of their defence and winning a corner for Chelsea. Chelsea looked really dangerous on the break. A good run there by Loftus-Cheek to get away from Soumaré. You think he had the fresh legs, but it's going to be a corner kick here to Chelsea after Suter blocked Mudryk's cross. It's going to be a left-footed outswinger from Chilwell Here's we hit 72 minutes at the King Power. In it comes on the penalty spot. Havertz rises, header, good save by Ward, and cleared away in the end by Tete. Kai Havertz rising in the box there, fairly unchallenged, headed it down into the corner, but Danny Ward was equal to it, and he keeps it out to stop Havertz getting past him for the second time today. Fernandes from deep inside his own half looks for a long ball, but it'll go all the way through to Ward, who gets us on going again quickly. So Kai Havertz, who scored the second goal with almost the last kick of the first half, almost had his second and Chelsea's third, but a good dive and stop from Danny Ward keeps him out. Here's Suter. Soumare, his first touch of the ball. There's a 1-2 Pereira, heavy touch though, and Kovacic will take it away from him. Here's Havertz now, middle of the Leicester half. Gallagher, nice flick on there, finds Fernandes just outside the box, plays it in for Loftus-Cheek, gets it back across, good block by Faes. And again, Chelsea getting a lot of joy in just running straight at the Leicester defence. This time Loftus-Cheek was put into the byline as he tried to square it back. Faes was equal to it, but it'll be a corner kick for the Blues here. Another one for them this second half. And we'll see who's going to come across and take it. It's going to be Chilwell again from the other side. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger this time from the man who opened the scoring back in the 12th minute with the volley that went past Danny Ward. Here's Chilwell, 2 hands in the air, left-footed delivery, and rising again is Havertz, but this time it's not clean contact, and Ward can pluck out of the air. Ward runs into Havertz there before launching that ball long, setting Tete on his back. Kovacic and Koulibaly, they were able to combine well to stop him getting in the end of that. Kovacic, nice flick, and it's handled there by Dewsbury Hall as he looks to try and get past him. So, approaching 70 minutes here, Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. This will be a big result for Chelsea. They haven't won an away Premier League game since the 16th of October. That's a run stretching back 10. As we look back here, there's Conor Gallagher blocking the strike. It was from Castagna, but Suter actually got a flick on it to turn it goalwards, but Gallagher was there on the goal line to rescue his goalkeeper. Here is Gallagher now. He's Loftus-Cheek to his right, in line with the edge of the penalty area. Ruben Loftus-Cheek doubles back, gives it back to Gallagher, who's been very busy, very impressive since coming on at half time. Here's Fofana to Kovacic. Fofana again. Fernandes. Gallagher now approaching the penalty area, instead gives it Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea playing the ball around 30 yards out from goal. Fernandes, nice touch from Mudryk, puts Gallagher in the box, left foot strike, not enough power, and Danny Ward can keep it out. But that again, Chelsea getting some joy by just going straight at the Leicester defence with some quick passing, but the finish from Gallagher there, nowhere near enough power, and Ward was able to nearly throw his hat on it. So here's Barnes. His first touch really the ball, tries to go at Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but his path is blocked. Gives it back to his fellow substitute Soumare. Plays a crossfield ball that finds Pereira on the right hand corner of the penalty area. Gives it to Tete. Tete's crossed in towards Iheanacho. Kepa flaps out of Barnes back across goal. Oh, what an awful miss by Dewsbury Hall. Oh my goodness me. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, all he had to do was side foot at goal bound, and he scuffs it. Again, Kepa not looking good under the high ball. The cross from Tete. Kepa comes to it, gets a palm on it, not powerful enough. Barnes heads it back across goal, and Dewsbury Hall has all of the net to aim at and scuffs it back into the gloves of Kepa. Oh, Brendan Rodgers on the sideline had his arms up in the air. He thought that was a certain goal, but Kepa is let off the hook again, this time by a dreadful finish by Kieran Dewsbury Hall. And it's going to be 2 subs now for Chelsea. Chilwell will be withdrawn here after 72 minutes. A good game for him. He thoroughly enjoyed his goal, and he's going to be replaced by the American Christian Pulisic. And it looks like Trevor Chalobah is going to be the other man to enter the fray. He is for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So it's Pulisic and Chalobah who'll enter the game for Chilwell and Loftus-Cheek here in the 72nd minute. That'll be 3 subs now each for both sides. Loftus-Cheek has had a good game as well, it must be said. He's been really solid. And Chalobah now will join us for the last 17 or 18 minutes or so here. Leicester with the ball, good flick on there, looking for Dewsbury Hall, but Gallagher in again, really busy in midfield, Conor Gallagher. And there's Madison, thought he was going to get on the end of that. Koulibaly intercepts Pulisic with a loose pass, his first touch of the game. Now Barnes trying to play in Iheanacho, but Koulibaly is strong. So Pulisic with a hand up there, his first touch was almost disastrous there. And now Chalobah gets his first touch of the game as he rolls it back to Kepa, who has made some good saves today, but it must be said, under a high ball or a cross has looked really shaky and nearly paid for it there, only for Dewsbury Hall to scuff it back into his hands whenever he had pretty much all the goal to aim at. Jamie Vardy looks like he's getting stripped off, ready to go. Dewsbury Hall hits one from outside the box, and Kepa will stop this one comfortably this time. As I said, his shot stopping of the day has been very good, and he stops Dewsbury Hall from much further out this time than he did last. Left-footed strike there by the Leicester midfielder straight into the gloves of the Spanish international goalkeepers. Koulibaly chips the ball forward looking for Havertz, but it's over his head and Castagna will retrieve it. Soumare right on the centre spot. Pereira, Soumare into Iheanacho, 30 yards out. Strong tackle with Fernandes. He's such a terrier in midfield. The former Benfica man who really burst onto the scene to the more wider footballing world as a key cog in that Argentinian World Cup winning squad. As Cucurella now intercepts the pass. Now here's Pulisic, sends away Mudryk. Has Mudryk beaten the offside trap? If he has, he's one-on-one with Ward. Has Havertz to his right. Mudryk rolls it into the corner for his first Chelsea goal. And if he stayed onside here, that's 3-1 to Chelsea after 75 minutes as he slides in front of the adoring away fans. And Andre Mara is going to take a look here, I think, at VAR. In fact, I don't think he even is. I think it has been ruled out. Oh, well, you got a feel for Mikhailo Mudryk there. He thought he was in for his first Chelsea goal, but instead the offside flag has gone up, and for the second time today it thwarts Chelsea. So it's 15 minutes to go, it remains 2-1, and Mudryk just went a little bit too early there, and he is denied his first Chelsea goal. Meanwhile, Jamie Vardy is on for the last 15 minutes to try and cause some chaos. He'll replace Kelechi Iheanacho. So a man who has done so much for Leicester now will be tasked with finding them a way back into this game. So we'll get underway again with a free kick and not a restart in the centre as Trevor Chalobah, a good interception there. Castagna now has the ball just inside the Chelsea half. 15 minutes to go here at the King Power. You're joining me here on flashscore.co.uk and on the mobile app. In case you missed it, earlier on, Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0 was the final score. Everton still leading Brentford 1-0. Leeds and Brighton with a really enthralling game at Ellen Road. It's 2-2 at the minute between them. We're 2-1 to Chelsea here with the last 15 minutes as Pereira gets in behind. Good cross, and Pereira and Vardy gets ahead on that to start, but can't direct it goalwards. But that's what he can do. Immediately into the action there, Jamie Vardy, and he can only flick that header on wide. I think he actually was probably offside there anyway had that gone in, but he's immediately into the action. The other latest score, by the way, Tottenham lead Nottingham Forest 3-0 at the top. Coasting a much needed win. However, Chelsea here, far from coasting. They lead this game 2-1, but Leicester are far from out of it yet, as Vardy jumps high, Barnes actually jumps high into the back of Fernandes. You can see the free kick right on halfway. It was Vardy, in fact. Like I said, he'll throw himself about, cause a bit of chaos, and he certainly has done that so far. 13 minutes to go here at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. Here's Pulisic right on halfway to Chalobah, the two subs. Now Fernandes scoops a right-footed pass, and Havertz is getting behind Faye Havertz, Faith doubles back, so there's still a bit of work to do, but Havertz plays it across to Mudryk, heads it back across Kovacic. 3-1. Chelsea do lead 3-1 now. There's surely nothing can rule this one out, as Mateo Kovacic, who lashes home a volley for 3-1 after Mudryk heads the ball back across goal, and with 12 minutes to go, it's a third for Chelsea, and surely there's no way back for Leicester now. They've had 2 goals ruled out for offside. I don't think there's anything that's going to rule this one out, and it's the captain, Mateo Kovacic, who ends up on the end of Mudryk's header back across goal as he lashes a volley past Danny Ward as the rain starts coming down here at the King Power Stadium, and that's a metaphor and a half. It's Kai Havertz getting behind. I thought he was going to get one-on-one with Ward, but instead he doubled back, played the cross across goal. Mudryk was at the back post, and unselfishly, instead of having a go himself, heads it back across goal, and Kovacic just on the penalty spot, under pressure from Dewsbury Hall, but unleashes a right-footed volley in the air, and they are going to check for offside. Goodness me. Well, if there's going to be a third one ruled out for offside here, then dear me. It's so... 3 VARs. Well, actually, one of them wasn't a VAR, but it's Havertz actually from the original pass from Fernandes. Has he strayed offside? No, he's on. He is onside, and after being denied by VAR in the first half, they're not going to be denied this time. Kai Havertz is onside. His cross to Mudryk, header back across goal. Kovacic smashes home a volley, and after 79 minutes, it's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 3. Chelsea are heading for their 3rd victory in 7 days. What a turnaround for them. Leicester, though, are heading for their 5th defeat in a row, and yet more pressure heaped on to Brendan Rodgers as we hit the 80th minute here, and that's a crucial one for Chelsea, as we just see the confirmation on the big screen here at the King Power. No offside given as Vardy wins a header. Now Barnes, as Leicester look desperately to try and get back in this one. Maddison to the byline, gets it across, blocked by Koulibaly, and Chalobah stops it going out for a corner. Here's Suter coming forward now, midway inside the Leicester half, so the Chelsea half. Plays a pass but finds nobody, but Cucurella slips there, and Tete will keep the ball in. Lovely tackle in the end from Cucurella. He slipped initially, and Tete was going to let the ball roll out for a corner, but Cucurella stopped that. However, here's Leicester back on the attack. Tete again gets the ball into the box, but nobody there, and Koulibaly is able to clear under no pressure. 10 minutes of normal time to go. It's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 3. They had that one ruled out in the first half for offside. They had Mudryk's in the second, but this time VAR is on Chelsea's side as Mateo Kovacic makes it 3-1, and they're now 9 minutes plus stoppage time away from securing their 3rd win in a week and their first away win in the Premier League since the middle of October. And what a huge result this could be for them. It will only move them up one place, admittedly, into 9th, but their confidence is maybe back flowing again here at Stamford Bridge, as there's another sub being prepared here for Chelsea. I think it's Carney Chukwuemeka. He looks like he's standing up getting some instruction from his manager as Pulisic goes on the run, but it's blocked. And that's a throw into Chelsea with 8 minutes remaining, and it is going to be the former Villa man Chukwuemeka, and he'll replace Mudryk. Mudryk thought he had his first goal for Chelsea, but the offside flag said no. However, a really good performance by the Ukrainian, it must be said. He's been probably one of his better ones in a Chelsea shirt so far. And the former Villa youngster Carney Chukwuemeka will enter the proceedings for the last 8 minutes plus stoppage time here, as the Ukrainian Mudryk gets some handshakes from the bench. We're underway again here with Koulibaly, who's been strong today at the back, it must be said. Looks for Chukwuemeka, but the ball's nipped off his toes by Pereira. Throw into Leicester though, Sutter rolls the ball back to his goalkeeper Danny Ward, so more pressure looks like it's going to be heaped on Leicester. 5th defeat in a row in all competitions, a 4th defeat in a row in the league. But here's Tete coming for us. Me not all over yet. Tete closed down with Cucurella, wins the throw as we hit minute number 83 here. And this win for Chelsea, they will actually stay in 10th, even though they're winning here today, but it puts them within 5 points of 5th place Liverpool. There's a cross in, hooked away by Koulibaly, kept in by Pulisic, and away by Kovacic. Maddison to Tete, Leicester coming back again. Tete with a cross, looking for Vardy, wins a header, almost drops for Maddison, but Koulibaly again is there, just getting the way. Pereira keeps it in the danger zone, but now Chukwuemeka can come away with possession. Sutter intercepts, and then Tete gives it back to Faze, and now Soumare midway inside the Chelsea half. Maddison around 30 yards out, he's going to have a go left-footed, drags it wide, and that's not what Leicester need at this stage. A waste there from their captain James Maddison, and I said it earlier on in the game that whenever Maddison plays well, Leicester play well, and then he's in the game, Leicester in the game, and well, neither of those have happened. We have 5 minutes left here, plus stoppage time at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 3 in this unofficial audio commentary for the Premier League here on the flashscore.co.uk website and on the mobile app, as Kepa prepares to take a goal kick as the drizzle comes down here in the East Midlands. And there's a real possibility. Could this be the curtain coming down on Brendan Rodgers at Leicester? How many more poor results will their board accept from the Northern Irishman? As Gallagher gets a foot in there ahead of Barnes, and it's a throw in to Leicester midway inside their own half, which Castagna will take. And the stands here are starting to empty at the King Power Stadium, and it's Fofana, the former Leicester man, who didn't really have a comfortable first half but has improved a lot more in the second half. He was down getting a bit of treatment there, but looks like he'll be able to shake that off no problem. Andre Marner will make him go to the sideline. He has taken his shin guards off, so no, that is going to be the end of his day. So Wesley Fofana, neither former Leicester man will see out the match in the 85th minute here. Wesley Fofana is off, and another one of Chelsea's January signings, the France under-21 international Benoit Badiashile, signed from Monaco, will get on for the last 5 minutes here. Vardy comes forward, immediately Koulibaly is in to intercept, and Kepa will come out to get the loose ball. So Chelsea will be hoping that's just a precautionary sub of Fofana, but I mean, you're bringing on someone of Badiashile's quality at the back as he clips a pass forward to Gallagher, and a nice ball there from Fernandes, finds Chalobah, and now Pulisic on the right. Where's Fofana smirking as he walks behind the goal back to the Chelsea bench. I'm sure getting some niceties from the home fans. Here's Badiashile, Cucurella, Chukwuemeka again here now, over halfway, runs at Soumare. Oh, a strong challenge there by Faze. No free kick given, that looked a certain foul. Wout Faze with a really strong tackle, and eventually the referee will come back and will book him, and that is Faye's second yellow of the game. And if that doesn't compound Leicester's misery, I don't know what does, as Wout Faze is given a second yellow card here with 3 minutes to go. I originally thought Andre Marner had let the challenge go unpunished, but it's a really hard sliding tackle by the Belgian on Chukwuemeka, completely out of control, takes his standing leg from him, and that is about as stonewall as a second yellow card as they come, I think. And Leicester will be left to play the remaining 3 minutes plus stoppage time with 10 men after that poor tackle by Faze. Not a tackle you're going to make when you're already on a yellow card. And Johnny Evans, I said, who's back on the bench today, It looks like he'll be starting in defence the next game. Thankfully for Leicester, he's back from injury. Here's Pulisic to go chase the ball, but Danny Ward comes out of his box to slide it out for a through. And thankfully he did, because Pulisic was well in behind there. And now can Chelsea heap on some misery here at the King Power against 10 men. Kovacic back to Koulibaly. Fernandes, Kovacic puts Pulisic in behind on the right hand side and line with the edge of the penalty. Gets across, back across. Pereira flicks it away well. Tete picks up a loose ball but loses it to Cucurella. Now Havertz has it. Lani scored the second goal right on the stroke of half time. Plays a 1-2 of Fernandes. Out left then to Gallagher. And Cucurella now to Fernandes. And Koulibaly on the halfway line. Plays it up the right wing to Pulisic, the American. Chelsea now, I think, quite happy to toy with Leicester, passing the ball about well, as Badiashile has had plenty of touches since coming on a couple of minutes ago for his countryman Fofana. Here's Fernandes in the centre circle now. Kovacic, the captain, who scored the third and what looks like the decisive goal here this afternoon. Now Pulisic runs at Barnes, gets inside. Pulisic still running, gets a pass into Havertz, who puts Chukwuemeka into the box on the left hand side. Carney Chukwuemeka on his right foot hits a shot deflected up in the air, and it'll look behind for a corner in front of an increasingly empty King Power Stadium here as we approach the final minute here. And Johnny Evans is actually going to get some action today, and he's going to replace James Maddison. Well, that is as much as I'm sure Leicester fans will be glad to see Johnny Evans back, replacing James Maddison. 3-1 down as we go into stoppage time. Perhaps not the way they would like to see it, but the Northern Irish International is back on the pitch for Leicester, having played just 2 games since the beginning of October, and with Faze now imminently suspended, then I'm sure Evans will get back into the side next week, and as I said, named in Michael O'Neill's Northern Ireland squad ahead of their Euro qualifiers against San Marino and Finland. So good for them to see it. Here's Cucurella now though for Chelsea. Chukwuemeka, incidentally wasn't a corner, there was an offside against Chukwuemeka, so Leicester had the free kick, and they come up with Tete as we hit minute number 90 here. We're going to have 7 added minutes here, so 7 to be added on here at the end of this second half, and a couple of injuries and those goals, as Pulisic now is Havertz is chasing that ball in the right hand corner, gets in the penalty area, cuts on his left foot. Gallagher, not sure whether he got caught between a cross or a shot, in the end doesn't either. Kovacic loses it and Pereira will come away now. Vardy and Barnes, Harvey Barnes, good tackle by Cucurella, but Pereira gets the ball over halfway and Dewsbury Hall looking for the return pass, doesn't get it, and Chelsea quite comfortably now have the ball midfield with Kovacic. And just rolling that ball around the back here now are Chelsea to Koulibaly, who I must say, despite all their attacking efforts today, I would say Koulibaly has been one of their better players. A real solid performance by the Senegalese international. And Chelsea may well, they're still going to be 10th at full time here with those results, but certainly a much better week for Graham Potter and his side. 3 wins in a week, and their first away win since October in any competition. A run that stretched 10 games on the road. If you're a travelling Chelsea fan, it's been fairly miserable over winter going to these away games, but they have treated their loyal travelling support today to a good victory. Leicester at times have shown a way of coming back in the game. They were level for around 5 minutes at the end of the first half, with Patson Daka's strike cancelling out Ben Chilwell's opener. Kai Havertz with a lovely little lob over Danny Ward gave them the lead, and then Kovacic there around 15 minutes ago with the third for Chelsea, as it looks like they're going to be going back down south to West London with all 3 points today and heaping more pressure on Brendan Rodgers. It was always going to be a difficult one for them today, but they're now going to finish this game, it looks like, unless things change elsewhere, with Everton still winning 1-0 over Brentford They're going to leapfrog Leicester into 15th, and Leicester will drop into 16th place, just a point above West Ham in the relegation zone, who don't play until tomorrow. So that could very well be interesting. If worst comes to worst here, Leicester could find themselves on the brink of the relegation zone. So, well, with Bournemouth beneath them, a West Ham win tomorrow would put Leicester, and that's it. Just watched an absolutely horrific tackle by Boubakary Soumaré. I understand there's some frustrations, but he just put Conor Gallagher, just completely wiped out his standing leg after Gallagher passed the ball. No free kick is given. Now Cucurella breaking down the left. Can Chelsea add one more? Squares it back, but nobody in the goal can get on the end of it, and Leicester will clear. And Dewsbury Hall gets away from Kovacic. The King Power Stadium here, you're starting to see plenty of blue and white empty seats, and Dewsbury Hall plays a pass to Vardy that would go all the way through to Kepa. Vardy was brought on at 2-1 down to cause some damage, but almost immediately after he came on, Chelsea made it 3, and he's had next to nothing really going for him here. There's that Chalobah on the ball for Chelsea. Back to Koulibaly again as we hit minute 4 of 7 here added on in the East Midlands. Loose pass from Havertz. Barnes gets in there and gets Evans, who will go back to Ward in goal. And now here's Suter. Back to Ward again. I'm sure Chelsea will be happy enough to let Leicester play 1-2s with the goalkeeper here for the remaining minutes. Johnny Evans now, who took that captain's armband off Maddison incidentally for the last couple of minutes plus change. There'll be a throw in there as Gallagher challenges Castagna. He's been really good since coming on at half time. He replaced João Felix, who also had a very eventful first half. Remains to be seen what his situation is. He hit the post and had a goal ruled out for offside in the first half. João Felix, but was on the end of a couple of hard tackles, so I'm not sure if he's feeling the effects of them or just a tactical sub from Graham Potter, but Conor Gallagher has certainly staked a claim to be on the starting lineup in their next game, Chelsea, as we hit the 5th minute here of 7 added on at the King Power. So up next for Chelsea then, they have Everton visiting them at Stamford Bridge next Saturday evening. So that's another one. Despite Everton's win today, that's a confirmed victory. Well, Everton actually says not a confirmed victory. They're in the 5th minute of stoppage time as well. So Chelsea hosting Everton next week. Sean Dyche's Everton. Meanwhile for Leicester, they've got a trip to Brentford. So they will go down to West London next Saturday. A real tough one for them. Chalobah now into the box, gets a cross in, and Evans clears it on the edge of his own 6-yard box. Chalobah will chase after it, but will Brendan Rodgers still be in charge of Leicester by then? He has been under severe pressure, and this is not going to help his cause, certainly. Here's Gallagher. It's for Chukwuemeka, who shields the ball from Evans. Now in the corner, Carney Chukwuemeka gives it back to Chalobah in the corner of the penalty area. And now Koulibaly and Kovacic in Chelsea. Koulibaly in the centre circle. And Havertz. 30 seconds remaining here until Andre Mariner, I think, puts Leicester out of their
Ollie
misery,
Klink, Tottenham 3, Nottingham Forest 1. We're still waiting to see whether VAR are going to give this. In fact, Craig Pawson is running over to the screen to check it. It's a handball from...
That's when the seats started to empty here at the King Power. Good challenge by Soumaré. Will win the ball back for Tete. Dewsbury Hall now on the right hand side, but he's forced back by Badiashile. And that is that. full time here.
And Leicester City are going to be a point above the relegation zone. It's Leicester City 1, Chelsea 3, and Chelsea are laying their way through the rest of this game. And Adrian, there are chants to your right-hand side of "We want Rodgers out." It's from the quote singing section at the King Power Stadium, and they do. They're vociferous in their support of the Foxes, up and down the country, high and low in victory.
Second from Kai Havertz right on half-time. That was after Patson Daka had equalised.
They are boos of disgruntled East Midlanders. Leicester City Football Club suffering a 5th consecutive defeat. This one at the hands of Chelsea. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 3. Chelsea 3 points, 3 goals, and over 3 times better than Leicester City Football Club. They're chanting "We want Rodgers out" at the King Power Stadium. It's a tough place to be these days. Leicester 1, Chelsea 3.
Well, I'll tell you what made it even harder. Ben Chilwell getting the first goal, set the tone, really. They did equalise through Patson Daka, but after that, Chelsea had just too much quality. And is that something to do with Brendan Rodgers pointing out the difference in the finances? So are the fans being a little bit unfair here?
No, I don't think the fans are being unfair, because it's not just this in isolation, Adrian, is it? It's Southampton away last week when you're not having a shot on target. I don't think you expect to beat Chelsea at home, but they've created chances. He'll talk of positives after the game, I'm sure he will, but it wasn't great at all. You've got to finish Daniel Amartey when you're 2 yards out. You've got to finish Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. You can see the players, hands on hips. I'll tell you my big concern here, Adrian, finally from me, James Maddison is hobbling. With James Maddison, I think they can stay up. Without James Maddison, they are in big trouble.
You're bang on. His ankle is strapped up. He is hobbling. It kept him on even after the injury, because they were 2-1 down. They thought they might be able to get something from the game. Definitely wouldn't have been without Maddison, but as it was, they didn't get anything from the game. And that is a cause for concern, no question about it. But Leicester heading towards the relegation zone. They are 3-1 losers to Chelsea. It's 3 wins in a row for Graham Potter and Chelsea. Cardiff have had their keeper Jack Annick sent off, and Ched Evans has scored. So Preston are going to beat Cardiff. They're 2-0 up, staying in the Championship. Has got a turf more comfortable for Vincent Kompany's leaders, Andy Buckley.
Indeed it was. Final score, Burnley 3, Wigan Athletic 0. Predictably, the runaway leaders running out comfortable winners against the side propping up the table. Nathan Teller gave Burnley an early lead with a smart header. Wigan were reduced to 10 men in half an hour. Omar Rekic was shown the red card for his second bookable offence. Yet this